Hello everyone! Oh, my camera has moved! Why are you down there? Let's put it back up here. There we go! Hello everyone! Welcome back to another Tomato Sauce stream. Today, we will be playing in the Angel Cup. We're going to scrub out in round 1 as is tradition. Then we will just commentate over the rest of the Angel Cup. When we see the good players actually make it to the finals and they finish that off, then we'll be talking about the leaks in a bit of detail. We have gone through them a little bit. We do kind of have a couple of thoughts, a couple of opinions, maybe what products we might be getting next, where this might be going, which characters there's potential for us to get, etc, etc. But first, we'll talk to everyone in the chat, and then we'll be playing in Angel Cup, which should be fun. I'm not expecting to do well. We're using a deck. So we have used this deck before in, like, we've played the archetype. We haven't used this deck before in terms of this build, so I don't know how well this is going to go. We're just going to kind of jump in and see what happens, and we'll just go from there, I suppose. But who do we have in the chat? We have Ninjetti Ursus, we have Gunkinshu Sipshari, welcome in lads. We have Dragson, new leaks. What does this mean? Well, it means we'll be getting new skills, some new cards, which is, you know, just pretty average for Duel Links, I suppose. We have second super mini, maybe potential. There is potential. It's a little bit early, just because my gems haven't recovered yet. So getting another super mini right now, I'm a bit like, you could give it like a couple more weeks. That's all I'm saying. Okay, just let me just build up the reserves again. New leaks means they're adding DJG. Oh, could you imagine? Could you imagine we get a DJG Gavin like skill? That would be absolutely ridiculous, but like in the best possible way. We have Duke in the chat. Nin Betty. One question: was a blue fusion more popular in Rush that is in Pink fusion is not? I wouldn't read too much into that personally. But yeah, there is, like, you know, just swap between the two fusions. We have King Feo. No streamer chat. We Royal Rebel. I mean, it'd be nice to see Royal Rebels come back into the meta a little bit. Not too much, right? I'm not saying I suddenly want, like, Rebel-dominated meta again. But, like, they've been on, like, the precipice, right? They've been on the edges of the meta. We did see it. I think some of them make top 16. Nothing has top 8'd yet. Which arguably is a good thing, because Royal Rebels, when they're really, really good, is kind of toxic. So maybe that's for the best. But yeah, obviously we're just talking about rebelling in the chat. Sakadetsu is here. Hello there first. Hello, Sakadetsu. Welcome on in. We have Kim Friend, no Fluffle support. Lucky Zane skill will not work with Orcust. Yes, there's quite a lot of things like that. Like, for example, there is also a Dark Lord skill that looks like it probably won't work very well with Orcust. There's maybe something there, but also maybe not. Dark Lord's skill is so stupid, free droplet. Yes, it is a bit weird, right? It's like, is it just the droplet skill rather than like a Dark Lord skill? We'll have to see. Hello, Dwan. Welcome on in. The attribute fusion skill gives Metarian a way to search fusion. Yes, it does. It does have a very specific limitation on it, though. So I don't think Metarian's probably going to want to use it. Also, welcome on in Pro Manicist. And I did see that Pro Manicist has signed up for the Angel Cup today, which, you know, has happened in the past, but doesn't happen very often. So I thought we'd point it out. We're going to, you know, maybe see Pro Manicist win Angel Cup. He has been on a bit of a tear in the tournaments as of late. He has found his calling with the Metarian deck, and we'll see if he can pilot it to an Angel Cup victory today. I assume that's what he's playing. It could just be playing something completely different. I have no idea. At least a Super Mini needs less than 9999 gems to get all the stuff. Very true. Very, very true. But I kind of like getting to my 999 and then always being at 9999. And we're not even halfway there for me yet, at the very least. And there's Max in the chat. Cyber Dragons support in speed. Finally, we're getting Infinity Limit 1 bundle support. Do we actually know we're getting an Infinity Limit 1 bundle, or is that just like your speculation? That's my next question. Try to get the Go Rush card, so I was hoping to not see anything for Rush until next month. I think it's a weird one. There's often times we're sat here like, give us more Rush, and now we're like, you've given us so much Rush. Hold it for a bit, right? We've got enough Rush for now. Give us another month and we'll be fiending for more. But right now, we're like, we've only just kind of established this meta. We don't need any more right now. Hello, Tomato. Hello, Caleb Thomas. Welcome, welcome on in. Hello, Is Life. Welcome, welcome. What can you say about the fusion in Rush Duels Maximus? Are we talking about the fusion maximum? Because I haven't got a ton to say about that. It doesn't look like it's worth the amount of resources and the amount of hoops you have to jump through to actually make it. So, I guess is my, like, first opinion on that. Oh, it looks like the brackets are already up, so we can go and see if we have a round 1 opponent. And we do, and I do not know who this is. So I'll hop in there. I might as well leave it on this screen while I communicate to my opponent. Let's get this sorted out real quick. So I'll send him that, and then we'll send our lovely little pre-prepared message. And then I'm actually going to translate his name to see if I actually know this guy or not. Good Luck Boy is his name. That means very little to me. I don't know if I've played against this guy before, but hopefully he doesn't just have all the luck. Fingers crossed, we'll see what happens. Sidra Bundle, pretty nice. Also, Yuri Skill 2 is really cracked. Yeah, 2 and 3 both looked interesting. I definitely want to have a look a bit more into them when I get a bit more time. Sidra Bundle, I'm on holiday, so I'm entering everything this week. Oh, it's the week of the Manicist. Speculation because of the skill, making your monsters level 5. I mean, it would make sense. More importantly, we can make 0 attack monsters big until the end of the opponent's next turn, which is decent. Matarian's power needs to be curtailed. It's one of those things where, again, I've seen a lot of people talk shit on Matarian of just being like, Ashura Star's just overpowered flat out. Vritra Star is crazy. It's not fair. Blah blah. I don't care about any of that. I don't care. Let them have Vritra Star. Let them have Ashura Star. Let them have a search for fusion. I don't even care about that. That's fine. Just take out Type Change B. Just limit it to 1. I'm completely fine with the rest of the deck. I think it's a really cool deck that does some really cool shit. I just don't like getting OTK'd. That is kind of it for me. Right, let's see what he's saying to us. Thank you very much for creating the room. Let's have a good game. Let's go now. Alright, so when he hops in, I will swap the screen over so you all can see. But until he's actually in the room, I'm not going to bother doing that. Alright, he's here now. So we will hop over to Duel Links to show y'all the game. We are going to fall behind on chat because we're playing. That is just how we do things here. You're just going to have to wait. I do see Giorfio is in the chat. More warriors to farm with Ashura. Nice. Basically, except the fusion's going to be like a Celestial Warrior or a Sky Warrior or something, I think it was. We'll have to see what it actually ends up being called. I don't think it's... It might already be in the game. It probably is, and I just haven't looked at it. Alright, let's see. We are playing its Dragon Fusion. This is probably going to be one of our actual worst matchups. He's probably going to have lots of high defense monsters as well, which is going to make things a little bit difficult for us. But I think we still always go Argent, because if we just play defensive, that plays into his game plan, and we really need to get going ASAP against this deck specifically. 1, 2, 3, 4. Well... do I even want both of these? We'll be drawing less cards for turn. As is, I could play both of these. So I only actually need to get 1. Unless we can, like, get out a double fusion, which is just unlikely to happen. The problem is, if he plays this correctly, he's just going to leave everything in defense for ages and ages and ages. Now, we're going to take 2. We're going to take 2, because we can try and get a little bit aggressive here. So we can't use our skill to get the search, which is going to be a big problem in this matchup specifically. But we are going to get a little bit aggro. So this gets punished, basically, if he has exactly Dragius. But if he doesn't have Dragius, this could go really, really well for us. The question is, do we want to add the fusion to our hand now? We don't need to. I could just get this off the field, which does let me draw an extra card effectively next turn, which is probably... I don't think it's worth it, just because If he does survive, we get to use his effect next turn as well. So we're just going to do this. Okay, so he does have 1,200 defenders, which was expected. The question is, how many has he got? Because this deck has to play as many high defense monsters as possible, which looks like he has gone all out on that. Unfortunately, we weren't able to get a punish. If he had a bunch of sports dragons, just clearing them off the field is really, really valuable. But here, unfortunately, did not get rewarded. And he does have the punish, which is the multi-strike dragon Dragius. This is basically the worst case scenario. Like, if he's just drawn full combo, this is pretty rough. Remember, he can't search fusion because we don't have any high-level monsters. He has to naturally draw into the dragon as well. He just has double Dragius. Okay, we are getting hard sacked here. Is the game over? Are we just dead? This is like the god hand. This is like the best he possibly could have opened. There's no point in doing that. I think we're just dead. Like, I play this deck quite a lot, the Dragon Fusion deck, and usually you run into the opposite problem of where is my Dragius? And bro just opened double Dragius. And he's found his third Dragius. Is that like a sepia tone? Okay. No Tomato, you're playing the wrong limit 3 for this. I usually go much more defensive with heroes. Okay, well. So the problem... It's a weird one. So first off, Jorfia, we're trying out this version of the deck because this was like Quantum's build. I wanted to like see how it worked. But 2, dragons want you to stay defensive. Dragons are quite happy for you to just not do anything for like the whole game. So with that in mind, I want to go aggressive because if he runs out of defense monsters, that's how I can win the game. If I just set 3, and he's quite happy to also just sit there and set 3 until eventually he's going to have the better... like OTK. That's why we played that way. Whether or not that was the correct way to play or not, that's up for debate, right? But that was the logic behind what I did. Let's hope game 2 goes a little bit better. But again, this is a really bad matchup for us. Call of the Earthbound is really bad into exactly Dragiostar. This deck is more tailored to play against... I mean, I guess anything else, but primarily this is like an anti-Matarian type list, and it's pretty good into Cyber Dragons. Unfortunately, we did run into a Dragon Fusion player, which is like, I think arguably our worst matchup. I feel dragons usually draw the low levels anyway. I mean, they will. They just will, right? That is something that will happen. But the issue is, if we... So now it's like, do we want to go aggressive here? I mean, kind of. We also do know... So we can't do anything about the back row anyway, so I don't even know if it's worth looking at it with Harvey. I actually think we might look at one of his monsters, because if we... Mind you, if we get a pop, would we even use it? We have to give up a card either way. Right, we'll go Harvey. We activate Harvey. Now the question is, do we want to look at the back row or do we try and get a pop on a monster? Getting a pop on a monster can be relevant because he is playing the 15s. Okay, we know he's got that. Then we'll summon out Avian. We'll go ahead and activate our skill. Get rid of this. Weaken this. Grab the fusion. We'll summon out Burst Inatrix. We'll drop the fusion. So we know this thing at least has 900 attack. So, like, that's at least something. And its effect is relevant. There's a chance that one of these has 0 attack. The question is, are we setting this Avian? I think we probably are. Just because I don't want to just, like, die. It feels kind of bad, though. We will just swing over one of these. If it's a 0, it's a 0. Okay, so we had 2 of Fortitude Dragons. We still get the 900 in. There was a chance that it was a Winged Dragon of Ra. I'm getting a Winged Dragon of Ra. Winged Dragon Guardian of the Fortress, which would have been a really nice hit. I hate this hand. Going second into set 3 and being forced to make a Wingman. Yeah, it's not pretty because this gets outed so easily, as well as our second Avian is already there. So now... if we don't find, like, Warrior Returning Alive or something... I mean, we do have Talismanic Seal Array to put some stuff back into the deck, assuming we don't just randomly die. But we're not going to get a draw this turn, right? So having them in the deck doesn't mean they're going to get into my hand. Okay, Fortitude Dragon. Dragon's Inferno. He does get to pop our TSA. I mean, it's not ideal. The other issue is we have lost the coin flip twice, which really isn't where we want to be. Ooh. So you might be thinking, oh, cool, we've dodged this, but a lot of the Dragon Fusion decks are now playing Monster Reincarnation, which means if he has got one in hand, that does give him now access to a Dragius, which could be super spooky. Tributes 2 does summon out another Dragius. Bro is just, ooh, he just has all the Dragius. He just hard drew it all. He didn't even need the skill. He's just hard drawn everything. Oh boy, we are getting cooked here. We are getting so cooked. Man, again, I play Dragon Fusion a lot. This is like, this guy is high rolling us so hard. Ooh. I do respect playing Draco the Tiny, but he's playing, assuming he's playing 3 of this, and he's playing 3 copies of the 1500, that means he is going to get absolutely cooked by Galaxy. Like, Galaxy is going to absolutely destroy this man. Alright, well, it's not looking great for us. We can get the Burst Dinatrix back on top, which I guess we're doing either way. Summon, activate, put that back on top, use that, get rid of that if we want to. The issue is, again, this deck is like super good into Call of the Earthbound, so like just having it doesn't actually do a ton for us here. Right, we'll go Argent, we'll go Avion, we'll go Tactics, pop the back row, hit the Fusion, we'll put Burstinatrix on top, activate Argent, reveal the Flame Wingman. The issue is, we still can't actually clear this. Oh, I think we've made a mistake here. Because we can't use... We can't reduce by 300 now. Oh, we can discard the trap. Oh. Yeah, we're just dead if we don't, so we have to do this. Like, there's no way around this, realistically. I mean, do we attack into the other one? I mean, we're just dead into anything anyway, so there's no reason not to. So... we'll go Seeker, activate Seeker effect, discard, target this. Activate the skill. We'll send this, reduce this, add the fusion. Normal burst, activate fusion, make Wingman, and we have to swing into this. We have to swing into this. Oh, we don't even get the burn because it's a crash. Oh, that feels bad. If we'd at least got that 3,000 damage, I mean, we're probably dead, right? Our one upside is that he currently has 2 Dragius in the graveyard. So he'd either have to draw his last one or just draw a very good, like, offensive hand. Like, double Winged Dragon Guide of the Fortress would do it. So, like, there's a lot of hands that would just let him win the game. Also, just a, like a TSA would also just let him win the game. If he's playing it, Monster Reincarnation wins the game. Three games, Fusion Summon once against Galaxy. Well, I didn't respect Mewchan and got OTK'd. Is everyone in chat losing? Is that what's happening right now? Are we all the losers of chat? Is that what's happening? That's not ideal. No, he hasn't slammed down lethal. So there's that. We might be fine. I feel like if he had lethal, you just slam it down. Unless he's got like convoluted lethal, in which case, you know, he has to actually think about his plays. We will have to see what our opponent does. I won game 1 and I didn't even fusion in that one. How? Alright, we live. We live. Hold. Imagine if he was 3,000 life points lower. We would be in such a good spot. So we have to give up a card here. Realistically, Earthbound ain't doing anything for us. We can pop the back row. And then make Ether Fast Striker. What does that get me? Either way, I think we have to pop the back row, right? I don't think we can afford to let him keep that. We do have Fusion in the graveyard, so we don't have to worry about that. Then we Fusion, slam into that. Yeah, we could make the Fusion. I'm just trying to work out, like, do we need this Call of the Earthbound? Realistically, I don't think it does anything in this matchup regardless. So we'll go Seeker. Activate Seeker. I guess we're going to reduce this down. We'll pop this. Okay, it was nothing. So we have to give up another card anyway, which is almost certainly just going to be the TSA. So we'll set this. Activate the skill. Get rid of this. Sure, you can go down to 0. Grab this back. Activate Fusion. Make Fast Striker. I don't know why he's just called F Striker in this. I mean, you might as well go to the bottom, right? Since we're out of AVR, we'll put one of those on top. Imagine, just imagine for a second, if the Flame Wingman burn effect goes off. Just imagine. Imagine if that had happened. But it is what it is. So he still has 1 Dragius left. We still haven't seen a Legend spell. He has drawn a Hammer Crush. How much... What is this guy's spell trap lineup? He hasn't seen any traps. Takes back Fusion. Okay, this doesn't mean anything then. Okay, okay. We live in. Unfortunately, we have lost the Buffered Slime. We have yet to actually find our negate attack, though. So if we do find that, we could be in a pretty good spot. But we've only seen 2 Hammer Crush and 1 Dragon's Inferno from this guy. So there's a good chance that he has another 3 back row hate. There's a good chance either or any of these are traps and or back row hate. That's kind of the spot we find ourselves in. Now those have potential. So I guess we start with Argent. We'll go ahead and drop Tactics. Let's just pop 1 randomly. That's a good hit. Then I want Burstinatrix on top of the deck. We'll then go Tactics again. Set this one. Put you on top. We'll go Argent, reveal Flame Wingman. Grab both. This is where stuff gets a little bit awkward though, because we can't kill this turn. And we can't have more than 1 back row on the field. So go Hero Rush Rising. Reduce your attack. Grab the Fusion. So we could either set both of these and just try and win the 50-50, or we just go for it. I think we're just going to go for it, to be honest. Summon, summon, activate the Fusion. Make the last guy. set this, set this. I can boost his attack, but I don't think we need to worry about that. I think we're just going to go battle. We'll swing into this. So he does have a back row. So that has to be slime. Well, I suppose it could be like other random trap. Is Dragon's 4? Wait, are we going to die? No, it'd have to have 16. Okay. So we live. I guess that's fine. Because if he has anything to kill us, we were dead anyway. Our hope now is that he just doesn't have back row hate, but the chances of him having back row hate are really, really high. We died to just about anything. There we go. There we go. So we were dead. Were we dead either way? That had been 400 plus 100. So we actually would have lived if he didn't have exactly that. Ah, that's a shame. That is a shame. Well, let's congratulate our opponent. Unfortunately, we did get... I'm not, like, disappointed with how we did, to be honest. Obviously, I would have liked to do better, but we queued into the one deck that I'm like, our deck is really shit into this, and he did high roll. At the very least, in Game 2, he high rolled the early, but he kind of petered out, and then, you know, got to the end. Game 1, we just got hard sacked. There was nothing we could do about that. Right, let's try and catch up with some chat, because we did miss a lot of that. Where were we? The Odd Eye skill is looking pretty powerful too. I really hope the next time we... Right, we should respond to our opponent quick. We should prioritize that, because again, our opponent's going to wish off to his next game. Thank you so much. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Oh, Japanese players are so nice. They're all so nice. Skills in general make the game more power crept. TCB can go first. I genuinely think I can see Nightingale falling out of Lyrilisk, I mean. Alright, so we can confirm these results. Submit. Approve. Okay, that's that done. So we'll catch up with chat, then we'll go and watch the other games. So Lyrilisk come in open DLM. They're so nice, almost makes you feel bad for crushing them. No Tomato, you're playing the wrong limit 3. Yeah, we... Apparently. We have Loon Ila-chan. How do you manage to not have a broken follower goal showing? I don't know. It just... Twitch does magic, and then it works. That's kind of all I've got for you. Morning, everyone. Hello, Kuova. Welcome, welcome. Can I play Starving Venom in Fluffle? Depends. I think you can. I think you just straight up can, right? Because the extra deck, you can play whatever you want. And you can just naturally make it using the deck, right? I feel like dragons usually draw the levels anyway. Going second. Why are you not watching OCG E-Hero stream at the moment? Well, because we're playing. Also, going second to dragons is really bad in general. I mean, yeah, 100%. Uh-oh. Dragons go burr. Dragons do go burr. 3 games fusion summon. I think we can crash. 1 game. Turbo goes... Arc Turbo goes burr. I take it chat have seen the main box reveal. There's a main box reveal? I haven't seen that. Can you make fusion? A main rush box. Get rid of Earthbound. No for speed. There are some Duel Links leaks in OCG stream. Neos E-Hero. Do we have the OCG stream? If anyone wants to like ping it to me or post it in the Discord, I'll chuck that up if it's still going. Boring. Bite QO. 1 Materian being defeated. I just dual Borrowload Link and show what they could do. Please no top deck Dragius MST. New speedbox. The attribute skills wording makes it seem like you can search any boss as long as it's listed. We can search Dragius. Is that Karma Yu-Gi-Oh! I see. Because they saw Speedle is more dead than Crossduel. Rest in peace, Crossduel. Oi Tomato, seen the leaks. I haven't seen the brand new stuff that's being talked about. Also, welcome on Desmume. It's another main box, main on mini. I saw 6 cards leak. My opponent thanked me in English. What a Chad. What a Chad. Japanese are so respectful, man. Yeah, they are. They are so lovely. By the way, Balls, I expect nothing less from you, my friend. It says main. Oh, okay, maybe it was set 1 or 2. The OCG stream Tomato. Have we got a link to that? Do I have to go and, like, look for it? Am I going to have to go and, like, Because it's probably a YouTube stream, which means I might not have easy access to it. There's that one. Is it this one? No, that's Cardfight Vanguard. I do not have easy access to the OCG stream. Can I find it? Looks like I found a live stream. I'm going to assume this is the one. So we'll go ahead and grab this. We'll open this, come over here, chuck this in here. Now, is this the correct one? There is a live OCG stream. I'm going to assume this is it. So these are the 6 cards that we got revealed, I'm guessing? Are you having fun swinging to my... Always, always. Bruh, I had one deck that punishes you if you don't see fusion, and that obviously happened naturally. So 50-50 when this sets could be another anti-back row. So is there... there's a Point Battle Festival, apparently. That's neat. Were there any Rush stuff in here? Or was it just like, oh, look, Rush got fusions? They were talking about Chronicle Rares. Talking about Yuri, showing off some new cards that were coming out. I'm going to assume this says main box somewhere on it, but I don't speak that. Talking about the Early Days collection. They were playing a duel. For some reason, using Arcana Force, because reasons. I assume we're getting new Arcana Force cards then? Is that what's going on? Is that kind of it, though? That's probably it for the Duel Link stuff, I would think. I assume this is now just going to be... The rest of this is just going to be... Just like Yu-Gi-Oh! CG, Devastated. Are you having fun swinging? Arcana Force, yes, nice. Duel Links box, what the fuck? Box means main box. It's a good thing that someone here speaks Japanese. Because I'm sure there's, like, probably more than one of you, but Dwan always comes in clutch. Arcana Force is wild. Lord of Heavenly Prison. Look at Neos Hero Chronicle. So great. Yeah, it's the main. Yami Kasara again with the Japanese. Showing off. Absolutely love it. Ah, nice. DLM says it's a main box with Sidra Infinity as a bundle. Well, we can have a quick gander over and see what's going on. So is it just going to be in the leaks or is it in here? It's probably in here. Let's take a quick gander. Let's see what they're saying. Oh, look at that. Look at that bad boy. Right. Half the chat is probably like, oh god, Cyber Dragon Infinity. And half the chat is probably like, yeah, give me some of that Cyber Dragon Infinity. Because I love this card personally. I think this card's awesome. Now, when it came out originally in the physical game, when it came out in TCG, you know, maybe a little bit overtuned. Maybe a little bit overtuned. Have we found ways to break this? Yeah. Yeah. But as for right now, I think this is fine. Look at the comments. Oh boy, yeah, it's going to be exactly that, isn't it? Oh, it's not a mini box. Cyber Dragon Infinity is here. Galaxy support. Let's go. My guys, where does it say Galaxy support? Galaxy Soldier plus 2 Light Seekers Infinity. Takes up 2 slots in the extra deck. I think Vimana is a better option since it doesn't target. True Draco is the thing that I'm a bit worried about. True Draco on its own, right? Like True King and like if you talk about like VFD, if we're talking about like is it True King of Calamities? No, that is VFD, right? What's the one that gets immunity based on the things you sacrifice to summon it? I think that one's kind of toxic. Tonic being a main box, still Hero Support Copium, Omni Negate 2. I'm the second one. There we go. The Cyber Dragon train never ends yet. Infinity is going to be busted with any deck that can bring it out. Cyber also got a new skill too. Yeah, I did see the skill. The skill does look very exciting. It was very obviously telegraphing that we were going to get at the very least Nova. But Infinity as well does make sense. Yeah, Troll Despair. I remember hating True Draco and Master Jewel, and I can't remember what it does anymore. Hold up, Sidra Infinity. Raid Raptors are so back. They're getting the field because the skill mentions it. Masterpiece. Masterpiece, yes. Masterpiece, the True Draco Slayer? I want to say it's called. So, like, it's a True Draco card, which could be kind of spooky. See if there's anything else that's happened on here. If not, we'll go watch the tournament. Because I'm not expecting much more to come from this. I assume this is just all going to be OCG stuff from here. So we'll hop over and check out the tournament stream now. We are going to have to finagle this, as always. So we go down to here and change this over. There we go. Look at that. Look at how nice that looks. So who have we got here? We've got Rins. So Rins won the last tournament, I believe. I think he won the last Angel Cup playing Matarion. So we are seeing that from the top. The guy on the bottom, I don't know what his name is, but I have seen him play in a lot of the Western tournaments. So at the very least, like, he's a guy that comes over and plays in our tournaments, just like, you know, we're coming over and playing in theirs. So I like OCG stuff. Traps Tricks more annoying. Trap Tricks is like, it's a weird one. I feel like as we got to the end of XE's format, like when we got to the beginning of like Arc V format, where everything like super sped up, there were a lot more trap decks just kind of in the game in general. And then as soon as we hit Arc V, what was the first set in Arc V called? I forget what it's called. But it's the one that everyone's always like, this is where the game like sped up and became completely different. That, to me, is when everyone stopped playing trap cards, or at least for the most part, right? And then everyone just started playing like 32 monsters, 8 spell traps, kind of lineups. Players' birds are ruining the game. Konami, say no more. Here's Infinity, Starving Venom, and True Draco. It's one of those weird things. Wait, right. To Konami's credit, if there is a problematic deck, you don't necessarily have to hit that deck. You can just release more problematic decks. And then everyone's problematic. And if everyone's problematic, nobody's problematic. And sometimes, that might sound a bit weird, right? But actually, sometimes that will fix a meta, right? So if everyone is kind of on the same page, and there's a lot of decks that are all kind of competitively viable, and everyone's enjoying playing their own deck, it can actually fix a meta. Now, will it fix the meta? Time will tell. I'm not an expert, right? I couldn't even tell you when rush cards come out if they're 100% going to fix the meta, quote unquote. Not that necessarily the meta needs fixing, but you understand my point, right? Even as quote unquote the rush guy, I'm still not going to be able to tell you 100% that something's going to fix the meta. Now, there has been some, like, there have been some predictions that have been, like, true. Like, for example, we knew going into this that Secret Order was going to be a strong card. There were a lot of people that were like, oh no, Secret Order's not going to be that good. It's not even going to be that strong. Don't worry about it. We haven't got any payoffs for it. And then, like, Galaxy ended up being, like, one of the strongest decks in the game. It's really, really powerful. So, you know, there's little things like that. But, like, for example, Matarion is a deck that I think most people that had played the OCG looked at it and went, this deck never really did anything in physical, so we're not expecting it to do anything here. And none of the skills looked that impressive. And it just turns out, if you don't have very good back row in the game, Matarion just gets to pop the fuck off. So, there's that. Duelist Alliance, thank you everyone. Jambo and Kuova, I do appreciate that. Spoken like a Konami shill. Now, I will always be the first to rag on Konami if they're doing something I don't like. I will always be the first one there. True Draco will just become a back row stun like IRL. The question is, do we have the tools to make that work in Duel Links? Like, do we have all of the stun cards necessary to actually make a full-on True Draco stun deck work? Like, I'm not saying we don't. I'm asking the question. My little, like, scope of the meta is very, very small. I see what is played in tournaments, and I see what I play and what I run into on the ladder. I don't have this, like, broader overview of the card pool, so, like, So Rins is a game up. We should also, by the way, we'll cut through this game real quick. I just want to check and see how the bracket's looking. I want to see who's doing well, who's been knocked out, you know, who's advancing onto the tournament, if we recognize any of the names. What was censored there, Sakadetsu? Something Leo? The first thing that came to my head was Heat Leo. And I'm like, well, Heat Leo's not going to get thingied there. Adamantitate every trap deck. What trap deck ends in Leo? I can't think what that is. Hello, Tomato. Hello, the Ryu. Welcome, welcome. So we're currently watching this game. Ursus unfortunately got 2-0'd by this Meek-chan player, which Again, Mead can be scary if they draw well. Bismuth has advanced on. He's playing against this guy. We then have Nanao got knocked out. Our favourite Guilty Gear player has been knocked out. Deku, unfortunately, also got knocked out. Dwan has advanced over Squid, which is actually a really big one. Beating Squid Flower is really, really good accomplishment, so, you know, good job there, Dwan. Manikist, unfortunately, did get knocked out. We did play against this guy last time. Ray has advanced on and is playing against Prisoner Tomato, who did manage to beat Iserius. So Iserius is a decent player, right? Nobody can take that away from him. Iserius is a fantastic player. Prisoner Tomato usually underperforms. So that is quite surprising that Iserius managed to lose to Tomato. But I'm gonna put my bet on Ray winning this game unless gets absolutely sacked. Now Neo's definitely a good player, and so is Ra. Looks like Yuke also got taken down. Gozu got knocked out. Gozu has really not been having a good format so far. I feel like Gozu keeps getting knocked out really, really early in all of these tournaments. Oh, Christ. Did you see that chat? Oh, you can't even see it because it's over there, but that's fine. Right, let's jump back into this. We'll never know. If Metarian loses to Volt Condor, then anything is possible. Well, to be fair, Volt Condor is almost directly there to stop Metarian, right? We've all underperformed at some point and still managed to win. Oh, yeah. Oh, for sure, mate. I've been underperforming for the last year, so if I can still win some games, then anyone can still win some games. Okay, out comes Ashura Star. Now, what do we pop? If you're in this situation, do you pop a back row or do you pop a monster? I feel like there's no real reason to pop a monster. There's no way we're going to get like a big push in, so we just always pop a back row here. This is Meeg-chan as well. So, like, it's a secret order deck, which means they can just generate... They don't generate resources for free, but they always get a discount, right? Double Ashura Star. If we're only playing 2, that's all of the Ashura Stars spent. But now, because we have 2, we potentially just pop double monster and try and get in for 28. But is getting in for 28 worth it? Those back rows could be secret order. And if we don't hit an order, we're going to feel so silly. Like, if he just flips over secret order next turn. Okay, so we are going to go for a 56, assuming this all lands. Our Volt just feels like it punishes them for not drawing fusion again. Right, well, there is the order. Popping that back row wouldn't have done a great deal. It's basically just like 1 card and a bit of life points. We do still get to take a load of life points off. Meat and Greed face down would be huge. Yes. Especially considering we know what this hand is. So we immediately are going to drop the Secret Order, summons out the Meeg, activates the skill, boosts Meeg up to 38. Set another back row. I believe the hand was all monsters, right? So I don't think we know what that back row is. I think that's the draw for turn. We do get to clear one of the Ashura Stars, but leaving in Ashura Star is pretty nasty. That means we're going to get even more value off of it. We can pop. Realistically, I don't think there's like a TCB play here, but... Did I actually join into Meeg-chan for once? Yes, Serena, you have joined into Meeg. Meeg is down a game, currently. So we really need Meeg to win here, otherwise they're out. But, you know, Meeg has a chance. It's just playing against the best performing deck in the meta right now. Okay, so that is kind of fine. Like, as is, we're still not dead. If he has a normal summon, we pop a monster and the back row is nothing, then we're dead. Like, if we could just normal summon like a 1400 guy, we can put pressure to apply lethal. We are popping a monster. That tells me we must have a 1400 guy. That also shows we are playing 1500 defenders, which means a 1400 might not even actually secure the game. And if it does, that means we just won the 50-50, and that's decided the game, which is absolutely insane. Lucky Overflow, also limited 1. Nah, we can unlimit Overflow, Kimfred. Don't worry about it. Just don't even think about it. Just let it happen. No Infinity and Overflow board. No. Let it happen. Let Cyber Dragons be tier 0 for a little bit. It's okay. They deserve it. They've been in, like, restricted hell for, like, forever. 15 cards digged in, no fusion. Ray, I know the pain! I had that screenshot a while back, which was, I had 7 cards left in my deck, and the bottom card of... Oh, no. What was the game? Was it Fusion we were missing? It might have been Fusion. Oh, yeah, it was, because it was Monster Reincarnation we'd tucked to the bottom, and all 3 of our Fusions were in the top 6 cards of our deck. And it was like, how has this happened? Unfortunately, that is going to be the game. And that is going to be our... We're also not even live. That is going to be Meeg out. But now we can click the live button and go jump straight into a new game. So, Metarian versus Galaxy. This is going to be one of the most common matchups we're going to see. We know that a 1500 defender from the trap before. Well, it's dead now. I've tried to scare it with TCB Warrior against no back row, but this guy has balls. Of course he's got balls. Well, here, speaking of TCB, we just saw TCB go to the graveyard. God, Ashura Star into 5 sets just does not feel that threatening, you know? So now, where are we going with this? We have 4 cards in hand still, which is a lot. Are we going to be making any kind of big play here? Again, with only 2 monsters, there is a chance that we, Oh, we are going to go for the back row. Oh my god! Completely blind, 33% hits the absolute best possible card. Some people are just built different. Oh, I wish this was me. I wish this was me. It was turn 2, so there was no possible information gained. He just went, I don't know, that one. Oh, look, it's the legend. Lucky me, I guess. Absolute Chad. Game 2, no fusion again. No! No, Ray, you were the chosen one. It's okay, Ray. I believe. I believe. In other news, Ra has defeated Now Neo 2-0, which is kind of spooky. Ra has taken down like all of the well-known Japanese players just on his own. So here comes the Light Galaxy Special, which is a boosted Galactica Oblivion. Does clear over the Ashura Star, but we have left our opponent with 2 very scary fusion materials. I'm so sad right now. Yeah, unfortunately it just happens. That's just... What can you do, right? What are you believing in? I already lost? No, I mean, it hasn't updated on the website yet, so I don't know. The only message you gave was, Game 2, no fusion again. You could have still been in the game. Changed my game mat. We currently don't have a game mat, I think, so I'm not sure what you want to change it to, Ray. Okay, we're sending Imaginary Actor to grave. This is probably foretelling that we have a star restart. Let's see what he does. And for now, I'll drink some more coffee. Put a mat on and take it off. I think that costs an extra 1,000 gems, I think. That sounds to me like 2 different things. Alright, where are we going with this? We have a 2,500 attacker, right? That's pretty threatening. We have to have a way to deal with this. Because we've sent the Imaginary Actor to the graveyard, we have to have the Star Restart. So now the question is, what do we want to make? So again, if we're limited on how many Ashura Star we have, we don't necessarily want to go into it. If we're playing 3 Ashura Star and extra, fine, yeah, just drop it down, right? Popping back row is obviously going to be a lot more useful here than using the effect to shuffle cards from the graveyard. Shuffling cards from the graveyard would be really good if we could shuffle this Galactica Oblivion back in. But we're never going to stop it from going there. Help me out here. I don't have another 1k gems. I think Manicist is saving up for his retirement. Alright. So we can pop, I would assume, a back row. I don't... But then again, like, what back row do you... You don't need to hit any back row. I mean, I think you hit a back row anyway, because it will just delay your opponent's plays. But, like, we've already hit the legend, so there's nothing else we have to worry about. I have 19.3k. What a Chad. What an absolute Chad. So, reduced by 14, down to 11. So that's currently looking at 1700 damage. Are we thinking about popping a monster and then going aggressive? If we pop a monster, we can attack over for 300 and then attack directly for 28, which is not lethal. We'd leave him on 100. Okay, we do hit Meteor Charge. It's a good card to hit. Use the game mat change and say no mat. Okay, we get him for 17. We swing just for a clear on a monster. Where are we going to go with this, though? It all comes down to what we draw for turn here. So there is Galactica Oblivion by the creator. That was a... Oh, having Klein face down there is so big. That is actually huge. Because that on its own has just turned on our skill. Is that a royal rare? Harvey, I see there. We tribute summon out. That's interesting. Okay. So we could have done this anyway, but... And we snipe the negate attack. I haven't been paying enough attention to know if that was... You know, if we knew that was there, if we attacked into delays. But we have gotten rid of the legend, which means we are back on even playing fields, or evil playing fields. In that both players have destroyed each other's legends. Nobody has resolved a legend, and nobody has, you know, had theirs taken away without the other one getting the exact same treatment. So this isn't just going to come down to, oh, I found my legend, you didn't, haha, I win. Okay, so the logic here is we can just attack over this and get in for 2,000 damage, because we almost certainly know that monster has... Well, we actually do know for certain, because he is playing the script. So we could, if we have an Assura Star left... Oh, we've already shuffled one back, so we know we have one. If we have the TCB combo, we do just win. So now the question is, do we have Type Change Beam combo? Looks like we probably don't, as we're going defensive. Going all in on the defense. We have popped a Meteor Charge, and a Meteor Charge has been used, which means there's only one Meteor Charge left available. If we pierce over one, that's 2,000 damage. If we flip a monster up, that is 1,600 damage. That's wrong. It is 1,100 damage, which would be 31. So, we need a Meteor Charge, or any level 7 monster, assuming... No, because I think... Did we use the Search? I think we used the Search to get the Meteor Charge. So we had to hard draw the last Meteor Charge. And we need to get an extra 100 damage in. Now, the best way to do that, I guess, would be to flip up a 500 attack monster, but we can't guarantee that's going to happen. So I guess TSA... But a lot of Light Galaxy lists aren't playing TSA. This does put our Light Galaxy player in a bit of a weird predicament, where actually closing out this game might not be possible. We might have to just hope and pray that one of those face down cards is an actor or a reactor, and just get in for game that way. And again, that's assuming none of these back row or anything, because the one weakness of Light Galaxy, or I guess one of its weaknesses, is Slime still affects it. We're only playing level 8 bosses. Now, a lot of decks have been cutting Slime, so there's a chance that our Matarian player has cut Slime. But what are the chances? What are the chances? So we're activating our skill. Now, I believe we've already searched Meteor Charge. Yeah, so we've been forced to search out the Secret Order. So this is something we could do. Oh, okay, so we're going for it. So this is a way till we get that extra little bit of damage. Oh, wait, what? I thought we were going to use Secret Order, bring back a guy at 32, then use Meteor Charge and try and win that way. But we are not. We gain 400 life points here, which wouldn't have saved him if he had done that play. So it all comes down to if he has Meteor Charge and he chose not to use it, we just threw. If he doesn't have Meteor Charge, he didn't get a say in it anyway. At this point, though, I feel like we're just waiting to lose. Yeah, there's Type Change Beam. This is just game. Like, there's nothing he can do. He would have to have exactly... It would literally have to be, like, Call of the Earthbound. But chances are we're playing 3 copies of Order, so we're not going to have it. So here we go, TCB combo coming down. Here comes the Sword Dancer. We're going to activate the Fusion, fuse them into the Ashura Star, activate Ashura Star, gain 5,000 attack, slam over, and get in for, what's that going to be, 5,300 damage or something? I have 26k! Did you go over the leaks yet? No. We're waiting until the end of this tournament, and then we're going to go over the leaks. We have spent a little bit just, like, talking a little bit about them, but we haven't like gone into depth, anything in depth with it yet. And we have not. We did take a little bit of a look at the stuff that was leaked on the stream. But welcome on in, Quantum Cubes. Hope you're having a lovely morning. I know it must be very early for you where you are. I actually missed that. Who won? I assume the... Yeah, we know who won. It was the TCB combo. TCB combo. Of course it was going to win. So I would actually, to be honest, I would say this matchup is a little bit skewed towards Light Galaxy. I think Light Galaxy do have the advantage in this matchup. But they do need a very specific opening few turns. And then they just get to dominate. If your combo pieces get picked apart, as they did there, where Ashura Star was, for example, able to take out the Meteor Charge... That really does stifle the Light Galaxy player, and Light Galaxy quite often would like to go second. They don't need to, unless it's the mirror. In the mirror, you really want to go second with Light Galaxy. But when you're not in the mirror, you're quite happy to set your whole hand. Obviously, having 2 cards stuck in your hand, not really the best. So now it's going to come down to, do we have access to either Meteor Charge or the Secret Order already, so we can search the other one? Because if we do, we could potentially get in for a lot of damage here. So we're going to activate the Secret Order. We do already know that we have another level 7 in hand. Otherwise, we would have played it last turn. We are going to keep it there, probably for the following turn. We do have the Universal Storm to pop back row. We have hit a TCB. Then we're going to activate the Universe Storm. Not Universe Storm. We'll activate the Meteor Charge. Flip up the 500 attack monster. That is actually huge. We're going to activate the Strange Traveler to reduce it down to 0. We have... Okay, just go for the 23. Do we have another... If we have... Okay, we have a 1200 attack monster. This is no back row. Oh, this might just be it. And there we go. That is exactly why Light Galaxy does have an advantage here. Now, if our Metarian player had either of his trap cards, he would have been fine. But he didn't draw either. And he might not even be playing Slime. I don't know if we saw it in game 1. We definitely didn't see it there. So... it's one of those things. Light Galaxy just... is so aggressive. If you're playing a slower deck that's a bit more of a combo deck, you will get punished by Light Galaxy. Light Galaxy does just have some really strong matchups, and it's why it's one of the best performing decks right now. Damn. Hello, Xyz Dragon. Welcome on in. No Orcus Sidra. I mean, you could do it, just not with the skill. Or not with those skills. Actually saying that, limit 1. What Orcus cards are limit 1? I know there's a Orcus card that's limit 1. Is it Ding? Is Ding limit 1? I'm trying to remember now. Oh, again! We are just sniping each other's legends back and forth. Holy. It's always the 33%. To be fair, our Galaxy player here keeps putting his legends next to his deck. That is something he has done every single time. Like... So, he's maybe a little bit predictable. Let Orcus dead until 2030. Orcus is a cool deck, bro. I don't know what you're talking about. It's one of those things where I think, especially Pure Orcust is like fine. Just let Pure Orcust be a thing. It's a cool deck. It does some cool shit. Nothing it does feels like super unfair. I think Ding is quite a nice card when played in Orcust. When you're playing Ding in not Orcust, that's when I feel like Ding gets a bit silly. When it's like in Orcust, I think it's fine. Widespread in this format. It's a weird one. A lot of Japanese players have been starting to play a lot of widespread, which is especially weird because in Japan, they're playing an absolute crap ton of Light Galaxy. Light Galaxy specifically has a card that says, I'm not going to get popped by your trap cards. So it's an interesting development, but I think they just see the threat of Dragon Fusion and Metarian as just that high that they have just had to be like, okay, I need something to like just stop this from killing me, as well as, you know, flip the tempo back into my favor. And I think that's the best way to do so that they've come up with. He popped 2 legend cards. Holy, exactly. We've been seeing that a lot. In game 1, on his first turn, our Metarian player did drop down a Shura Star and just immediately hit the 33% and hit the widespread in that game as well. Unfortunately, our Galaxy player has not had the best of luck, but this is where things could turn around. It's all going to depend on the back row that our Metarian player has. Like Galaxy was in this situation last game and they managed to win, like on this turn. That doesn't feel great. Where are we going with this? So we've given piercing to the 16. We're taking a look at our opponent's fusion. Oh, that is so unfortunate. On one hand, you know, it's like, it's a shame that the Light Galaxy player hasn't found any of their shit, because, again, if you're playing 6 level 7 Light Galaxy monsters, you have a 70% chance to open one, and we're now 9 cards through the deck, so statistically we should have found one, like, for shoresies, right, at this point. But at the same time, do we really want to see Light Galaxy just basically OTK? I'm not a big fan of that myself. Is this the final? No. This is... Let's find out exactly where this game is. This is... Which game is this? It's you. Is it this game? Nope. Which game is this? It's this one. This is... Round 2. So this is... Top 16. This is top 16. Mutin the Sidra God. Hello, Mutin. I'm gonna assume it's Mutin or Mutin. I keep saying it and want to say Mutton just because Miss Mutton is a thing, but clearly it's not that. We have CZ in the chat as well. Metarian has been very fun deck to play. Love the ability for 4 different fusions. I think that's the thing. Metarian is a really cool deck. Metarian is like super fun. I think everything the deck does is awesome except TCB. I do not like TCB plus a... I don't even mind the other TCBs. It's just TCB plus a Shura Star. That is the only interaction I dislike about that deck. Other than that, I think... Oh, okay, we've just... I want to go back and look at that again. What happened here? So we tributed out to summon our big boy. We then just summon out, take another look at another back row. So we know 2 of those back row are fusion. Then yeah, we just get to attack in and kill. Just too much piercing. Too much piercing, not enough normal summons. And that is just going to be it. So Light Galaxy is going to be advancing. And they'll be playing against Prisoner Tomato, who we did see Ray get knocked out by. What did they play? TCP Warrior against no back row. Do we know? So Ray should know what Tomato's playing. I have no idea what Tomato's playing. But if Ray wants to share that, obviously feel free. Mutin is okay. Mutin. Alright, Mutin it is. He won Cloudy yesterday with Sidra. I did catch the end of that. Unfortunately, some of these tournaments are a bit late for me. So, like, I wanted to play in Cloudy's yesterday, but I was just so tired. I was like, I cannot start a tournament at 11:30 PM when I'm already shattered. But I did manage to watch the finals this morning and chuck it on the spreadsheet. So, we did get to see that. Bro keeps setting cards. Exactly. No Dark Lord Orcus 2 because of last ban list. You're the only person thinking it would be a deck. Listen, right? Kim Friend really, really likes Fluffle and really, really dislikes Orcus. That's kind of Kim Friend's MO. When they do the UO rerun of the event, do you expect a King Cobra Star / Snake Clown in the rewards? There aren't many cards they could do. It's either going to be them, it'll be cards brought forward from the future, which there aren't many that I think would be a good fit, or we'd have to get a Matarian Trap, which also seems unlikely because there's a lot of traps we still don't have, especially traps that bring back monsters from the graveyard, and that's what one of the Matarian Traps is. Or it would be... What was the other card I was thinking of? The Field Spell? They could release the Field Spell. The Field Spell will be fine, realistically. I wanted to play 2, but someone asked me to teach them Rush. Listen, Quantum, I needed those lessons, okay? I needed the advice. Otherwise, how else am I going to start winning tournaments again? I needed the world champ to teach me a few things. Because pre-hit limited 3 and limited 3 pull right is biggest now, I want a skill that makes Luke the Luke Man in the next UO event. I don't know if that's likely. I feel like if we were going to get a Luke Man skill, it would have been the Dragia Star Nova skill. Oh, okay, so we are going him. My opponent was more Unga Bunga than me. Does that mean you were playing Galaxy, Dwan? Is that what you're saying there? And also, Dwan, if you can let us know what your opponent was playing, that'd be fantastic, so I need it for the spreadsheet. And what you were playing, I suppose. As we all know, my spreadsheet takes priority over absolutely everything else, like in the entire world. So just as long as we get the spreadsheet filled, that is all that matters. Galaxy Mirror. Okay, thank you very much. So we'll add Galaxy to the spreadsheet. So here we are watching... Is this the same... This is the same player we just watched playing against Tomato. A bit like Barry and Morph. Okay, so we are seeing Matarian versus Light Galaxy again. Now again, I would say this matchup is a little bit more favored towards Light Galaxy. Light Galaxy, however, has set no back row, which is a little bit scary, but if they do have one of their combo pieces in hand, that being either the Secret Order or the Meteor Charge, actually holding them is not a bad shout. Guaranteeing they're not going to get popped and you are going to want them for the next turn is good. Drawing less cards does kind of suck, but you are able to do a lot more with a lot less since you're playing a Secret Order deck. You don't have to commit to having every single card like you would in other decks, which is why we have seen a lot of people actually start to play the Stealth Agic and Hammer Crush in Light Galaxy because you just don't need as many cards as a lot of other decks do. We were both on widespread, so it was even worse. There we go. I mean, it's exactly the matchup where you just don't want to be on widespread. But, you know, if you're both on the same one, it's all balanced out. I don't know what Ra is playing, but Ra has gone undefeated thus far. He's dropped a single game to Yuke. So we've got Double Feet Giant, and Double Feet Giant has managed to step all over Heracule Star. Now, oh, Prisoner looks like we're going to be going all defensive. This is super scary, because if we just have access to Meteor Charge, this could be over already. Let's see what our Galaxy player does. Grabs the Meteor Charge, activates the Meteor Charge. So we're hoping to flip up a 500 attack monster. That is not a 500 attack monster. Tribute to the Doomed! So now we just need a normal summon to basically threaten lethal. There it is. We can activate it. I mean, we didn't activate it. We don't need to, but like we could have. We get in for 18. We get in for 900, and that is going to be lethal thanks to Tribute to the Doomed. He did all that, and he still had a card in hand. Like, we still had a card left. We didn't even need the whole hand to just kill. And this is why Light Galaxy is so strong right now. You are able to just punish people that play low defense monsters, as well as, I guess, low attack monsters as well. with such an aggressive early game. Playing those 3 copies of Meteor Charge definitely is what is winning them these games. Without Meteor Charge, this obviously wouldn't be doing anywhere near as well, right? And I think that's why we have been seeing a lot of people start to lean away from the Galactica Force build, which only plays the 1 copy of Meteor Charge, and go more into this good stuff list that does play the 3 Meteor Charge, because that's what allows you to just apply a huge amount of pressure. So that is a lot of back row, but Galaxy is going second, which means potentially they could do their big wombo combo right now and just have a ton of damage. So as long as Galaxy has opened a level 7, which it looks like they have, they can discard it, and they had the best one. The fact that we're grabbing that means we already have Secret Order in hand, so we can now activate our Secret Order. Oh, first we're going to be activating Meteor Charge. Okay. Okay, I mean, this is fine. This basically doesn't really change anything. We'll summon out Strange Traveler. Are we going to tribute? We don't have the Secret Order. We just really wanted to get in 200 damage. And then, I mean, I guess. It feels, I don't know. It feels a little bit wasteful to only get in 1300 damage when potentially that was like, you know, usually if you activate a Meteor Charge, that's representing a 2000 at least attack into a defense position monster, as well as a bit of extra damage on top. So it feels kinda bad, but if it was that or just summon out a 2500 guy, this is probably still better. This also does keep the amount of power on our board lower, which means if there is a potential TCB combo, we won't be taken out of the game, which is quite smart, right? Realistically, we're now going to gain 27. We could round that into an 11, and then we're only actually going to be taking, what, 28 plus 16, so we're only actually taking 44, and we would live, right? So potentially, we're going to be in a good spot. And that might even... Oh, we are going to go for a TCB. We are going to be going for Spellcaster, though. So we're looking to try and spin the board. Now, there is a chance that we did that. Okay, no, we are just going to do that. I was going to say, there is a chance we did that just to free up room. But it looks like we are going to go all in on the Heracule Star, activate its effect, spin both monsters. We're going to have a 2800 guy on the board. Now, are we going to flip up that defense mode? Are we going to normal summon another card from hand? Are we going to try and get in for big damage? That is always going to be the question. So we are going to put the TCB back. Spin both monsters. Ooh, Star Restart is huge. So, now we can make whatever that face down card is. Presumably, yeah. And it could have been a reactor or an actor, in which case we could have made whatever was in our graveyard. Ooh, Serpainter. So that will allow us to flip that face down monster face up so we can get in for more damage. This is still not going to be anywhere near lethal, but it's going to be a lot of damage. Most importantly, neither of the monsters we have on the board have bad stats. They can still get beaten, right? If we activate Secret Order, if we change one of these to defense. Well, we don't really... Changing it to defense isn't really going to do anything. But if we get the Secret Orders, we can clear these monsters. But there is going to be no way to use a Meteor Charge to just get in and kill these players. Or kill this player. Because again, the weakest it's going to be is what, like 20... Oh, that is huge! Losing 50% of your board there is actually ridiculous. Now, this would have been a lot worse if that was a higher investment card, but because it was only a 3-card investment, that's not as bad. If that was like a Dragia Star, that would have been effectively a 5-card investment, which is a lot worse, but still, you never want to see one of your boss monsters getting taken out by Widespread so easily. The disappointing thing is, we really don't want this game to just be, well, I resolved Widespread, so I won. So we're going to hope, I guess, that the Matarian player does have their Legend Trap as well. We'll have to see what happens here. Okay, so we're summoning out Boltricorn, which will be able to turn off that back row. Then we are going to activate the Secret Order. So this is fine at the moment. This makes a 32. So we clear over for 400. Then we get in for an extra 12, which is 1600. Realistically, how... I mean, another Secret Order would do it, right? Just another Secret Order is game. In situations like these, Widespread feels better than a 100%. 100%. The question is, How often do you get into a situation like this, I suppose? All right, so that is now, what, 600 plus... Oh, that's just lethal. That is just lethal. Oh, it's not. Okay, we did not do any maths there. It was close, down to 400, but we have no back row. Can our... Don't forget, that back row cannot be used. So the back row by Prisoner Tomato is offline. The fact we're setting tells me we probably do not have TCB combo, but we were completely wide open to TCB combo. So now it's going to come down to, do we have trap cards? Now, I believe we already searched Meteor Charge turn 1, so we have to hard draw into another copy. We're also going defensive! Both players have nothing! Alright, we're just going to fire this off. We're going to pop a useless card. That's got to feel bad. Especially if that last card that Tomato has is useful. Right, where are we going with this? Where are we going with this? We set again. We set again! Don't tell me we have nothing! Both of these decks can make extraordinarily aggressive plays. Oh, yeah, we did whiff the 50-50 on the Legend spell. Random question, is there a reason we aren't playing in English? That's because this is someone else's stream. This is a player called 8mm Apple stream who has, you know, complete access to the tournament and thus has access to everything on Tonomil. So he can actually look at all the different games. We can't. We do have permission to be streaming this. We're not just like, you know, just piggybacking on someone else's for no reason. But yeah, we don't actually have any control. We're just watching. We're just spectating. We're just giving English commentary over a Japanese tournament. But welcome on in, JPS. Or Ivy? What do we do? Gypsy Ivy? Just Ivy? Something like that. Reactor time, poggers. And that is it. Just Meteor Charge ends the game. Now, was that... This is the one thing I am absolutely terrible at, is actually keeping track of like what game we're on. Was that game 1 or was that game 2? The problem is we've just watched 3 games of Light Galaxy versus Metarian. So, like, I'm getting a little bit confused as to how many we've had. That might have been the last game. Oh, sorry, I wasn't aware this wasn't you playing. No, we're spectating a tournament. We got knocked out in the tournament immediately. That was a 2-0 to Light Galaxy. This Light Galaxy player, by the way, has played against Metarian, and Metarian. He is farming Metarian players, and he has made it to the semi-finals where he will fight off against Ra. Now, Ra typically is a Cyburst one-trick. He does play a couple of other decks, but his usual go-to is Cyburst, so that could be Cyburst in the semi-finals. We'll have to wait and see. In the other half of the bracket, we're waiting for Rin versus his opponent to work out who will be advancing to the semi-finals. Now, ideally, I would like to hop over to that game because I would like to see what Rin's opponent is playing. But obviously, we don't have any control. We are at Apple's whim. So let's see what he decides to do here. As we just get some nice relaxing music. Galaxy with widespread usually farms Metarian, so not surprising. I mean, Galaxy in general. Oh, we are going into the Ra game. So this is fine. Like, I still want to see what Ra's on, but we are basically just following this Galaxy player the whole way, which again is cool, but for my spreadsheet, that's not good. I want to see what everyone in top 8's playing. So it looks like Ra is playing Metarian, which means our Galaxy player here is now on his 4th Metarian game. Again, he is farming Metarian. So statistically, based on what we've seen so far, he should be the favorite here. And again, I would also say this matchup is still Light Galaxy favorited. Are you mainly running Duel Links or also other Yu-Gi-Oh content? So me specifically, I have a YouTube channel where I make Rush Duel content. That Rush Duel content is primarily Duel Links, but also does feature some stuff from the OCG. I do really like playing Speed, and we do play Speed here on the channel, but on the Twitch. Not as often, nowhere near as often as Rush. We're basically primarily Rush. But we don't touch, like, TCG. We don't play Master Duel, if that's what you're asking. So we activate the star restart. Then we're going to go into a second Ashura star. Okay. Double Ashura star's pretty interesting. So we could pop 2 monsters here. Try and get him for 2800 damage. Looks like that's what we're going to be doing. Again, denying resources from Galaxy doesn't matter as much. It's more the specific cards you deny. Oh, I'd get punished for not popping the back row. Oh, all right. To be fair, that now means Widespread is gone. We have nothing to really worry about anymore. So that is one upside for Ra here. Thank you for following, Ivy. I'm gonna call you Ivy unless you specifically tell me not to. That's what we're going with right now. And thanks for answering. No problem, my friend. So we are gonna double. We're gonna activate 2 copies of Secret Order, summoning out 2 3200 attack bodies. But do we have Meteor Charge? We do not have the Meteor Charge. So we know this is gonna clear, and then we can just get in for 32. That is still huge. Now we are once again completely wide open to a TCB combo, but TCB combo is a 4-card combo. Now the graveyard is already set up, so it's kind of a 3-card combo, because now we just need Star Restart, TCB, and the Warrior of Choice. But don't forget as well, we do also know that we're playing... Wait, actually, do we know if Ra's... I don't think we know if Ra is playing Monster Reincarnation, but if he is, that's just an extra card that it could be. Ooh, okay, looks like Ra has not drawn a very good hand here. We are going to be able to clear 2 of these, but we still leave a 25. That means a Meteor Charge could go really hard here. Meteor Charge, change one of these to defense, attack over it, is just immediately 2000 damage on its own, so we'll only be 400 shy of lethal. And our NA and Ashura are gone. It's Jova. So far, the Galaxy doesn't clap on Metarian. So far, that Galaxy doesn't clap on Metarian. What are we talking about here, Dismimi? You're gonna have to be more specific here, because this guy is clapping every Metarian. You think he plays 3 Ashura? Some people have gone up to 3, some people haven't. What I tend to see is players that are still playing Glaciosaurus are on 2. Players that have dropped Glaciosaurus are up to 3 Ashura Star. Now, that's not a rule, right? But that is like a trend I have been noticing. I personally, when I play Metarian, I do play the 3 Ashura Star, because Ashura being able to pop back row is really good, as well as if you want to do your TCB combo, having the 3rd one in the back pocket can let you do it without having to be like, well, I don't want to summon Ashura Star now, even though popping a back row would be nice, because I need to save it for TCB combo. Right, so just having the 3rd really is quite nice. Usually Galaxy tends to be outplayed by Metarion in that matchup in general. I disagree. From my experience, and looking at a lot of the tournament games we have been seeing, Light Galaxy tends to win this matchup. Now, I'm not saying they automatically win, right? I'm not saying it's like super, super favored, but I would say it is at least 50-50 to 45 in Galaxy's favor, maybe even as high as 60. That's just because if Light Galaxy gets a good open, they can punish or get enough damage in to kill the Metarian player before they've even got the chance to set up. So again, it's gonna, mileage may vary. It's like, what build of Galaxy are you playing? What build of Metarian are they playing? But in general, I think if you're playing the triple Meteor Charge version of the deck, I would say it has a massive advantage going against Metarian. Okay, so we are performing a fusion. And out is going to come Ashura Star. Now, what are we doing with this Ashura? We can just pop the face down. We can attack over 500. Then we can get him with some other stuff. Are we going to make a second fusion? If we go into a Vritra Star, that could be pretty good. We aren't. This is a little bit spooky. On the plus side, there isn't a good way to OTK here. If we activate a Meteor Charge, we change one of these monsters to defense, we can attack over it for like 2,000-ish damage. Then we still have to find the rest of that damage to actually kill. So like, it's not super free. And there are 3 back row as well. Would you say it's easier to get into Rush or Speed for someone who has no prior knowledge about the formats, but actively plays the TCG? Yeah. So that If you had no prior knowledge of either of the formats and you didn't play TCG, I would 100% say Rush would be easy to get into. It is a much simpler game. It is a lot earlier in its lifespan. It's only been out for a year compared to Speed, which has been out for like 6 years. But if you have prior knowledge of TCG, you might find Speed easier because you'll recognize a lot of the cards. Like, they're played in a different way, and the skills do add like a whole other dynamic. But if you know the cards and you kind of understand what the decks are good at and what they're bad at, you kind of already have your, you know, you'll feel more comfortable there. I personally prefer Rush, especially right now. I think the Speed meta is a bit wonky, but for me, that comes down to my one-trick deck does not play very well against birds, which is Lyrilusk. So Lyrilusk being one of the most popular decks right now does hurt the way I play Speed, and I know a lot of people do feel the same. So, you know, there's that. Delicious coffee. So, we are going to be activating Fusion when we go into Vitristar. So, this represents 1,000 damage on the board right now. We could flip something up. Oh, that's 23. That is lethal. We have found lethal. Right? I'm not being an idiot. Oh, we had, I didn't even notice that we TCB'd. We hella have lethal then. We didn't even need to do that, though. We literally did not need TCB there. TCB was icing on the cake. So that means we're going to be 1 apiece going into game 3 to see who is going to be winning out of Light Galaxy and Metarion. Remember, this is a top 4 game. This is not the finals. This is the semi-final game. So, you know, the winner of this doesn't win the whole tournament. They just advance to the finals. Alright, let us see what is going to happen here. So, Light Galaxy again going second. Again, remember, Light Galaxy do not mind going second. Their skill is turned on going second. It's top 8 or Galaxy Metarion. So we had the other semi-finals currently is a Light Galaxy. One of the other top 8s was a Light Galaxy. There was a Metarion that made top 8. There's one. There are 2 that we just straight up don't know. And there is another Metarion also still in top 8. So again, there are 2 decks we don't know about. But yeah, everything else is Metarion and Galaxy. Okay, so we have used the Meteor Charge. We are going to get to clear 2 monsters. We put our opponent down to 33. How dangerous is this? So we can gain 37 off TCB combo. 37 would bump us up to 50, 65, which is not going to be lethal. At least not on its own. We would have to do like double Ashura Star. But there is a world in which we do get OTK'd here. But again, it's not likely. It's not likely. But drawing 2 extra cards, it does become a little bit more likely. 3 Galaxy, 3 Metarions, 2 Unknowns. Exactly. Hopefully, we'll get to find out what some of those other decks are, but we might just not. Unfortunately, that is just the world we live in. So where do we go from here? Realistically, oh, we are going to go for TCB. We are going to reveal a Spellcaster, so we're going to go for a spin. Now, obviously, we would rather be doing TCB Ashura Star combo, but it's obviously not necessary. And because we already had the Spellcaster monster on the field, we couldn't make double Ashura Star. So no matter what, we couldn't have done our full combo anyway. I really want this game to end, because I want to go and catch the other quarterfinal game before it ends. But I think we're going to miss it, which is a bit of a shame. We are also going to turn off fan, because it's getting a little bit warm in here. Weird, we've had it, it's been really cold for the longest time. And then today, just randomly, it's been a bit warmer in the UK. So it's been like, I need to wear less layers. Okay, so we get in, put our opponent down to 18. So again, depending on what those back row are, Light Galaxy could just win the game here. To be fair, though, the games we've seen today, none of them have been a complete blowout. Nobody has just been OTK'd from... Actually, that is a lie. To be fair, there was a game where this Light Galaxy player did just OTK their opponent. Other than that one game, we have had a lot of back and forth. We have had multiple turn games. I think that's all we can really ask for. We really want games to get to like turn 5 to 7. I think that kind of feels like a good length for a rush game. We don't want it dragging out. We don't want these like, you know, 20 turn games. We don't want these like 2 turn games. That kind of nice 5 to 7 is what we like to see. And that's what we've seen today, which has been quite good. This has been... Oh, okay, we do have the Widespread Ruin taking out the Heracule Star, which is super spooky. But we should assume that Ra does have good back row there of his own. Hello world, welcome, welcome. The ban lists are also different for both rush and speed compared to TCG. Not the cards, but how the ban list works. Yes, the ban list is very interesting. I would like both of the ban lists, and that, when I say both, I mean physical and Duel Links for both of those games, to incorporate elements of both ban lists, because I think both have strengths and weaknesses, and I think it would be really nice to have some cards choice restricted, whilst other cards are just regular restricted. Unfortunately, because of the way they've got it set up, both of them, neither of them are like perfect, right? I feel like it's nice to be able to say, okay, this is choice restrict limit 2, so you can't play this with other limit 2s, but also this card is just limit 2, you can only play 2 of it, right? Well, I guess limit 2 doesn't really matter. But that's my crackpot theory, right? Oh, so Rin got knocked out. So that means we know Metarian has been knocked out in top 8. Which means there is now only one deck we don't know about that we're not going to get to see. Because we're going to jump over to the other semi-final game and then we'll learn what the last deck we don't know what it is. So we'll have to see if we can find out on Twitter or whatever later what the last deck was. Duel Link style ban list wouldn't work in paper, too complicated without having it automated. I disagree, just because there is a similar system incorporated in Cardfight Vanguard, where they do the same thing, right? Quantum Cubes in the 8mm Apple chat, just casually dropping questions. I think the 1, 2, 3 choice restrictions would be hard to properly implement in TCG, as it interacts a bit differently with a 40 card deck format than 20. That is true, that is true. But again, there are other card games that do similar things like that, and it kind of just works out for them. So, like, I think it's doable. Although I do wish that ban list in Rush Duel Links would be harsh. I think the ban lists right now are too soft. I mean, I think some people would argue there's too many cards on the Rush Duel Links ban list. So, should more cards be on there? Should some cards be taken off? We did go over this a little bit in our last stream, and we kind of came to the conclusion there are several cards on there that we think could come off. We didn't really talk about cards that could go on. I think the only card everyone wanted to see on there was Type Change Beam. Other than that, like, everything else is kind of fine. There was a couple of things about, like, should Metarian get a limit 3? I personally don't think that's necessary. Like, you could limit 3 Reactor just to say, please stop playing Reactor in non-Metarian decks. Other than that, I think it's fine. I don't even want, like, Metarian to be stopped playing limit 3s. I think it's fine that they can play other limit 3s. Personally. Is that Monosync I see? Ra will definitely tweet about his top 4, which is good, because he'll talk about the decks that he played against, right? So we'll be able to see there. I asked the streamer if top 8 is all Galaxy Metarian. He said yes, yes. Okay, that's good. With one choice restriction, I could see Pog and Graceful coming back. Wait, are we talking about in TCG? Like limit 1/2 for Extra Monster is kind of pointless most of the time. Most of the time, yeah. There are some like nuanced times where it can be okay. Reactor just to stop it in other decks is fine. Yeah, again, I think that would be okay. But again, I don't think we need to hit Metarion specifically in a way that says you're not allowed to play limit 3 cards. I think that would be a side effect, which isn't the end of the world, but also isn't great. And we are seeing a Light Galaxy Mirror, which means guaranteed our finals are going to be Light Galaxy, Light Galaxy. This is definitely a tournament, right? So we've seen... So this is at least 4 Light Galaxy have made top 8, possibly 5, because we know that that last deck then should be Light Galaxy or Metarion. All Metarians lost, let's go. Again, I think Right, I know there is a lot of hate in the community for Metarion, right? I understand a lot of people don't like Metarion. I personally am just in the I don't like type change beam Ashura combo. For me, it's like I try to not like drum up this hate as much as possible. I personally think Metarion is a really, really cool deck. I'm quite happy to see it topping. I just don't like seeing it win with type change beam Ashura Star from 6k. Again, doing it when they're on like half their life points is whatever, right? So that's fine. It's just I just don't like specifically the OTK part of it. So interestingly, we are seeing two different builds here. It looks like one of these players has gone more all in on just stacking as many different light galaxy normal monsters as possible, where the other has gone for a bit more of a diverse deck list. So we're gonna have to see what actually happens here. And that was more of a joke. Metarion don't need limit 3s, to be fair. Oh yeah. I mean, they don't, but like some lists have been experimenting, right? We have seen some people playing the Call of the Earthbound to counter other Metarions. We have been seeing some playing Ghost Cyclone just to have extra back row hate. And I think it's nice that they are able to experiment like that. Okay, so discard, search Secret Order, activate Secret Order. So this, so anyone that hasn't played Light Galaxy Mirrors, going second in the Light Galaxy Mirror is unbelievably important. You potentially get, you get to do this, right? We were a normal summon of 1300 attack away from just ending the game, which is insane, right? There are so many cards that this could have been that could have just ended the game here. And we just didn't draw anything. We just didn't draw anything. That's just how it goes sometimes. Light Galaxy can be extraordinarily sacky. So basically, in Light Galaxy, because you're playing 6 copies of a card you want to see in your opening hand, right? The chances of seeing a card you're running 6 copies of in a 30-card deck in your opening hand is 70%. Now, technically, you want to find one of your 6 level 7 normal monsters, right? So that's a 70% chance to find one. Then, you also really want to find either a Secret Order or a Meteor Charge, each of which you're playing 3 cards of. So, because you can search the other one, you only need to find one of those. So that's another 6 cards in your deck, which is another 70% chance to find it. So, as long as you open one of each of those cards that you each have a 70% chance to find, you're kind of off to the races. So, when you don't get that, which obviously one of our players just did not get that, that feels kind of bad, right? You have quite a high chance. Now, obviously, that still means there's a 30% chance for each, you just don't find it. So that's going to happen, right? You're not just going to guaranteed find that every single time. But it does mean that when you don't find those cards, your deck's not doing great, right? Unless you don't open any tributes, then you lose going second. Exactly. It's what I mean, right? Sometimes you'll be playing the mirror and you just won't find any level 7 and higher. And you'll be like, I'm going second. All I need is a level 7 and higher and I win the game. And the deck's like, nah, you're not having that. Okay, so we've summoned out Foot Giant. We're going to flip up our 1500 beta. We can activate the Meteor. That is not lethal. We are 300 shy of lethal here. Oh. So no delay. So there is nothing in that back row to save us. But we aren't dead. Does Rush play with 30 card deck? I thought it was also 20. No, in Rush is 30 to 40. Unlike Speed, which is 20 to 30. And we also have 4,000 life points, or sorry, 6,000 life points instead of 4,000 life points. And our burn damage isn't halved, but there isn't much burn damage to go around, to be honest. Activate Secret Order. Bring back Foot Giant. So right now, this represents a maximum of 1,800. If we have a Meteor Charge, we could make this a little bit higher. What would we need? We need like a second. Okay, so we are going to be activating Tribute to the Doomed, getting rid of the Foot Giant. We are going to be activating the Meteor Charge. So if we change this to defense, that represents an additional 1,400 points of damage. So we're currently looking at 29. We're still 2,000 shy. We don't have any more monsters. So we are only on 300 life points. So this is now going to come down to, does the turn player find a way to get a guy that's bigger than 23? Which is actually quite easy. All we need is a Transam Linek. There we go. That is it. We are now threatening lethal. So now it comes down to, do we have back row hate and does our opponent have trap cards? Now remember, Light Galaxy does lose to either of the trap cards. I suppose this sort of plays around Widespread Ruin. This 100% plays around Widespread Ruin. But we still will not kill through either of the other trap cards. So, ooh. So we do have the Widespread. Unfortunate. See, this is why Widespread feels like a bit of a liability to me specifically. Now again, I'm not the biggest Light Galaxy player. I think the deck's quite fun, but I think it's a little bit too sacky for me. I feel like I get too many games where I just get a little bit unlucky, and I feel like I can't play the game, and I don't like decks that do that. So, because of that, I'm not a huge fan of the deck. Like, not massively fan. But because Light Galaxy is so popular, and again, we can look at the Grand Prix, where we have seen Light Galaxy being one of the most represented decks. We can take a look at the Japanese scene, where in point battles and everything else, like Angel Cup, we have been seeing Light Galaxy been really, really, really popular. In my mind, you shouldn't play Widespread, because a lot of the time, you're going to be against monsters that can't be popped by it. Did I lose the Widespread player? I think I did. I think almost all of the Light Galaxy in the top are on Widespread Manicas. It is bad in the mirror, but it's better than NA in most other matchups. I mean, that's fair enough. That is fair enough. The thing is, it's a weird one, because NA just feels so universal, right? You can use NA against anything, including maximums. I guess as maximums fall out the meta, NA is going to be less useful. NA just stops more than one attack, whereas Widespread will only stop one attack. So I guess it comes down to how often are you going to run into players that are able to make more than one big attack? Probably not too often. So we are going into game 3, I believe this is. Or is this the finals now? Let's double check. No, this is the finals. So this is the finals. This is another Light Galaxy mirror. Also, I do just want to say as well, there are some mirrors in the game that I think are really fun. I personally am not of the opinion that the Light Galaxy mirror specifically is very fun. I'm not a big fan of it personally. Now, anyone in chat, if you specifically like the Light Galaxy mirror, 1, feel free to let us know. And 2, like, is there a particular reason you like it? I think the Light Galaxy mirror it's very luck dependent. It's very like who opens the right cards. It's very who goes first and who goes second. I don't know, I've never been a huge fan of it. It just feels like who can sack the other one harder. And I've never been a big fan of that personally. Removing a monster means potentially another 2k plus damage next turn. I mean, that's absolutely fair enough. And it's another thing you don't have to get rid of, right? It's another, like, body you don't have to expend resources to deal with. All mirrors are interesting, but interesting is not fun. Yeah, but some mirrors are fun. Right? Do you know what I mean? And some of them are fun because they're interesting. But, like, Light Galaxy is just kind of summon guys, give them piercing, slap, slap, slap. There's not really any nuance to it. Especially because they just play, like, a bunch of turbo spells. Which, again, it's not a bad thing. It's just like when you... If we go back to, for example, watching... Like, Psychic Mirrors were quite fun. At least I found them quite enjoyable to watch. Whereas, like, Machine Mirrors, I was a bit like... Do you really want to watch Machine Mirrors? Like, Cyburst Mirrors as well, I was a bit like... Not a fan. So we do get to swing over for 400, and we get to clear that for another 19. So we've left the 23 on board. which means if our opponent has access to a secret order, they can't just bring that specifically back, but we have drawn into the Galactica Oblivion anyway. We can add the secret order to hand, activate the Universal Storm, so we're popping a back row. We do pop, is that Galactica Force? So one of these players is playing Galactica Force, which is really good for the mirror. Now the question is, if we're playing Galactica Force and Strange Wall, what have we cut to make room for that? This might be a player that is only playing a single copy of Meteor Charge. We're so opposite there. I liked the Machine Mirror, not so much the Psychic one. Well, the reason I never liked Machine Mirror was because it, in my opinion, again, just my opinion, do not take what I'm saying as gospel. It was just who finds the most copies of Innovator. Whereas you could, I suppose, make the argument that Psychic was who finds the most copies of Candy, or who finds the most copies of Melody. But I just felt there was a lot more going on because the deck had a lot more moving pieces. It was like, do you have Jam Check? Do you have the Candy online? Have you found the Melody to get the spin? You know, can you do all of the above? You got to manage your life points. It's like sometimes it's better to gain life points than not spend them, because sometimes you want to use Primo to apply more pressure, but sometimes just having more life points is going to be more beneficial. So if you can go up to like 8,000, that was a lot more important than putting your opponent on less life points, because then they can also capitalize on being less life points because they can use cards like Roman Pick. I just thought there's a lot of like interesting things going on in that mirror. Whereas when it came to the Machine Mirror for me specifically, it was just, did you find Innovator? You're doing well. Did you not find Innovator? Things aren't going well. Only interesting if they aren't type-locked IMO. I mean, then it comes down to, like, deck-building differences, right? Which, to be fair, we are seeing that right now, right? This is a pure, like, Light Galaxy on Galactica Force and stuff versus, like, the good stuff Light Galaxy deck. This is, like, the two different Light Galaxy decks going at it. And as we've seen, both of them have made the finals. And both of them have won tournaments, so we are going to use the Epherai to boost. I don't know if this guy's still called Epherai or not. I don't know what his English name is. But he's boosting up Transam Lightnack up to the 26. This is something we have been seeing a lot more, actually, is people have been playing the Epherai just to be able to have a 26 so that they can out their opponent's bosses without having to expend a secret order. Which I think is pretty good for the mirror. As well as Galactica Force, again, pretty good for the mirror. Yes, but when they are type-locked, once the deck is solved, you already know what to expect. I mean, true, but at the same time, just because you know what's coming doesn't mean it's boring, because now you have a more informed decision of what to play around, which I think can make for games to be more interesting, because it adds, like, a knowledge element of the game. Because in TCGs, there's a bunch of different metrics, right? There's, you know, how well do you know the meta? How well do you know this specific deck? Can you predict what your opponent's going to be doing? And that's why a lot of people don't like playing against Rogue, because they're like, I don't know what this deck does. I have no idea what to expect. And there we go. Galactica Force is overthrowing. So was that the final game? That's the next question. Once again, I am terrible at this. In Duel Links, it's called Transam Epherai. Thank you, Dwan. Thank you. I do not like that Galaxy removal is used by both Belgier characters. Well, it's just Galaxy, right? Like, it would be a bit weird to have a specific Light Galaxy and Dark Galaxy removal. Because they're all just, it's all the same deck. Well, you can mix and match the cards. There are some which will like lock you into like, oh, you can only use the effect of dark monsters for the rest of the turn sort of thing. But there are actually fusion monsters between the two. So like, they do kind of want you to play. Some people have dubbed it Chaos Galaxy, which is like light and dark. Galactic Force is very good in the mirror because it counts your opponent's normal monsters too. Yes, 100%. When you're not in the mirror, I don't like Galactica Force, but when you are in the mirror, I'm suddenly like, okay, Galactica Force is kind of a 5-head play here. So we do flip up the Harvey. It's an interesting dynamic, really, because I feel like the player who's playing the good stuff list, his deck is better generally, but the guy who's playing pure is a lot better in the mirror. And it's like a really interesting dynamic. Why does Udius use Shadow Sentinel? You know, why not? It's a 1500 beta. Sometimes you just want more betas. Go for the Strange Traveler. We'll reduce the Lilac down to 1100. We're going to activate the Meteor Charge. Ooh, okay. We'll swing into this. It looks like there is a delay. It's hard to tell. No, it looks like there maybe isn't a delay. I'm really bad at telling when there's a delay in Spectator. But I think there isn't a delay because it didn't flash up at all. But it's dark. He's not allowed it. He's not pure. Well, again, he does have a fusion with, I think it's Requiem. So, you know. Now, to be fair, that was anime bullshit. But, you know, he still has a fusion between the light and the dark. So we're going to summon out the Transam Lightneck. Summon out the Sprite Sentinel. We're going to use our Secret Order to bring back a Galactica Oblivion. 3200. That does now play around if our opponent does have the Widespread Ruin. We're going to pop the Galactica Oblivion. We'll swing in for 500. We'll then swing in for 1900. And we'll swing in for 15. So 500 life points left. This game could be decided here. We're going to have to see what our bottom galaxy player has. Let's not question Udius. He can shoot I-beams and has a sword and just off his opponents, but chooses to beat them in card game. That's because you need to beat people in card games. That's how it works. Rush duels let you look into people's hearts. Oh, this is looking like it could potentially be game. So at the moment, this is only 1700 damage. So we're going to need another hold. That is going to do it. That's 2200. And we know the back row is not online because we do have the Boltricorn. Very, very cool. I noticed in a clip that Yuhi uses Requiem, and I was like, what the F? I'm assuming it's important. So that is from a weird anime bullshit duel, and that is going to be it. That is going to be Light Galaxy winning the tournament. I hope everyone enjoyed the finals there. If you don't like Light Galaxy mirrors, deal with it. If you don't like Light Galaxy versus Metarian, also just deal with it. One thing we didn't see was any Metarian mirrors. We didn't see any. I think we might have seen one like a lot earlier on, but we didn't see any in like the top 8 at the very least. It's nothing the abridged Yu-Gi-Oh show where Merrick and Bakura use lightsabers. I mean, yeah, but he can literally look at his heart after he burns it from his chest. He can do that. He can also fly using alien technology. He can breathe in space using alien technology. He can also turn into a t-shirt. That happens at one point. Don't read too much into that. But that is it for specifically that tournament. So you know what that means, everyone. That means it's time to look at some leaks. Who here likes leaks? There we go. Who here wants to talk about some leaks? So first things first, we'll get a cheeky refresh. We'll just make sure all of these are up to date. I guess we'll talk about this first. Speed Starving Venom main box and bundle announced. So, Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Unfortunately, this card has a little bit of like stigma attached to it. Yeah, but he can, since Udius goes to Earth for Rush Duel to stop the war, does that make him a war criminal? I don't think so. I'm going to go with no. So Starving Venom does have a stigma attached to him, and that is because a lot of people look at this guy and they go, that's just that Super Poly card. That's the guy that you just fuse my board away. And I don't like that because I can't react to Super Poly, and I don't like it, right? Starving Venom, though, is a pretty cool card, right? So if this card is fusion summoned, you can make this card gain attack equal to one opponent's special summon monster to the end of this turn. Once per turn, you can target one level 5 or higher monster your opponent controls. To the end phase, this card's name becomes that original name. Replace this card's effect with that card's effect. So it's like a copycat. Copycat is a bad example because it only copies stats, but you get the point, right? It could copy an effect. If this card is fusion summoned, if this fusion summon card is destroyed, you can destroy all of your opponent's special summon monsters. That line is also pretty toxic, right? I don't know about toxic, but it is pretty good, right? The only thing I don't like about this card, well, I guess there's a couple of things I like with this card, but the main thing is I don't like this guy's 2800 attack. That really bothers me. I just realized Super Poly Starving Venom works on your deck. Oh yeah. But 28 annoys me because all of the other Dimension Dragons are 25. And this one's just 28. Because reasons. And I don't like that. That bothers me. Like, for no, like, actual logistical reason, it just bothers me that it's not the same. It's not symmetrical. It's not how I want it. Then there's Cyber Emergency, which, oh, who is excited for Cyber Dragons? Come on, everyone. Who's a Cyber Dragon stand in the chat? Everyone loves Cyber Dragons, right? Add one Light Machine monster that cannot be normal summoned or set, or one Cyber Dragon monster from your deck to your hand. If the activation of this card's owner's possession was negated by your opponent's card effect and sent to your graveyard, you can discard one card to add this card to your hand. You can only activate one Cyber Emergency per turn, which is pretty good because this card says activate and not use, which means we can just use it again, which is quite nice. Evil makes you 300 stronger. Everyone knows that. Well, there we go. Gunkin Susukshari has solved it. Free overflow. Zwei wanted to reform Udius Galaxy, so it kind of made Udius the criminal in terms of their lore. Nah, don't worry about it. You're reading too much into it. Fallen of Albaz will fuse with opponent as well. Yes. Then we have Harmonizing Magician. Pendulum effect. All monsters you control gain 100 attack. It's irrelevant. Realistically, we're going to be using its monster effect. Cannot be summoned. Special summon from the extra deck. Cannot be used as material for fusion, synchro, XEs. Unless the other materials are magicians. When this card is pendulum summoned from your hand, you can special summon a magician pendulum monster from your deck in face-up defense position. So it's a free plus. Except Harmonizing Magician, that makes sense. But negate its effects. So, you know, there's that. But banish it when it leaves the field. So why is this important? It's because this is a tuner. And by having it... Why doesn't it actually say tuner on the card? We know this is a tuner. But anyway, it doesn't say it on there for whatever reason. This is a tuner. So the whole point is we do this and then we go into like Clear Wing or whatever, right? Whatever we're going to end up playing it with. But yeah, harmonizing is cool, right? Fantastic. I haven't seen the show waiting for the dub, but it's comforting knowing we can use a war criminal against literal children in Duel Links. I can't believe they added Sidra support. Sidra support's cool. Come on, who doesn't love a little bit of Cyber Dragon Infinity? Look at his little face. So then we have Predaplant Ophrys Scorpius. The Predaplant cards I really like are their fusions. And I like the Pendulum cards. They're my favorite Predaplant cards, but, you know, there are these other ones as well. If this card is normal or special summon, you can send one monster from your hand to the graveyard, special summon a Predaplant monster from your deck, except another copy of itself. You can only use this effect once per turn, which is pretty good. There's a lot of like really good Predaplant monsters you can summon from the deck. Then we get to the True Draco stuff, and this is where it gets kind of scary. Are they added Sidra stuff? Yes, we have Cyber Emergency, and we have Cyber Dragon Infinity. Do we have Nova yet? Is that a thing? We do have Nova already. Okay, so we don't have to worry about getting that. We already have it. I don't know if Rope System's even relevant, to be honest. Almost certainly not, right? Anyway. True Draco. True Draco, kinda spooky. I like the Predator spells. Some of the spells are really, really cool. So during the main phase, you can draw cards equal to the number of True Draco and True King type card types, monster, spell, and trap, sent from the field to the graveyard this turn. During your main phase, you can immediately after this effect resolves, tribute summon one True Draco or True King monster face up. If this card is sent from the spell and trap zone to the graveyard, you can target a spell card and destroy it. You can only use the effect of it once per turn. So, this on its own doesn't mean anything. What matters is the other cards we get to go with it. This could get super awkward, depending on what they give us. Now, obviously, we're not going to have, like, Skill Drain, right? We're not going to have the big floodgates. But, like, this still could get kind of spooky. I know a lot of people do really like the True Dracos because they're very simple to play, right? But we'll have to see how it actually goes. So, Zuijo is the actual protagonist, and Yuhi and Yuamu are criminals for aiding a war criminal. Again, I think you're reading a little bit too much into it, though. Then we have Lord of the Heavenly Prison, a rock monster. During your main phase, you can activate this card effect. This card in your hand becomes revealed to the end of your opponent's next turn. When this card is revealed by this effect, set cards on the field cannot be destroyed by card effects. If a spell trap is activated, except during the damage step, we can special summon this card from our hand. Then, if you activate this card while it was revealed, you can reveal one spell trap directly. You can set one spell trap directly from your deck, but banish it during the end phase of the next turn. You can only use one of its effects per turn, and only once that turn. I don't really know what this card's effect was in TCG. It seems like good generically, but I don't know how good it's going to be in Duel Links. That's kind of all I have to say about that. How's it going? Any rush news? Yes, we do have rush news. We'll be getting to that very shortly. The first things first, we'll refresh this season in new updates. Oh, look at these. Card modification changes. Oh, that's tasty. Oh, I'm just going to say as well, I'm a big dino guy. We haven't had a lot of the dino cards that have been revealed yet. But already, I'm seeing my boys. I'm seeing Doodle Beast Stego. I'm seeing Doodle Beast Tyranno. I'm excited. I love the Doodle Beasts. This is another Arc V archetype that didn't really get a lot of screen time. This was used by the Shivers guy, if I remember correctly. So, you know, Void Velger is cool and the kind of deck Batman would use. I don't know about that. Same effect in TCG, mostly used in lab/burn. That's not too surprising. Also, hello Shui, welcome, welcome. So Ancient Warriors are getting some more stuff. I mean, I know there's a lot of Ancient Warriors players, so they're going to be very excited about these. Yeah, I'm happy for them. We're getting more dinosaur stuff, but we haven't got a lot of the other dinosaur stuff that was leaked before yet. So I'm kind of just waiting for that still. We've got some more Dark Lord stuff, which is, you know, completely fine. There's also the first Dark Lord. I really like the Stego Beasts. I would really like to play the Stego Beasts, the Doodle Beasts. I think Doodle Beasts are really cool. How good they're going to be is a bit up for debate. I think Tyranno is a pretty cool card. You contribute some of this card by attributing one dinosaur monster during the main phase of a dinosaur monster in your field. You can quick effect immediately after effect resolves, tribute summon this card from your hand. You can only use the effect of it once per turn. If this card is normal summoned, you can destroy one monster on the field. Then if this card is tribute summoned, tributing a Doodle Beast monster, it gains attack. So basically, it's a quick effect tribute summon during your opponent's turn to pop a monster, which I think that's cool. I think that's really cool. I don't know if anyone doesn't like that, but Go Rush World made me realize I don't have enough gems to support both speed and rush, so I'm probably not opening any of the new speed boxes. Yes, it is very difficult, Waltz, to do both on the same account. In fact, just keeping up with speed on its own is very difficult on just one account. We previously leaked dino stuff should be in this box because it's a main box. Well, I mean, that's cool. That's definitely cool, though. That means we're going to get tons of dino stuff. So much. That's gross to my... What do you mean? What, Doodle Beast Tyranno? Is that what you're saying is gross? It's cool. It's not much different than using Scythe in your opponent's turn to slap down a Kraken, right? Not a Kraken, a Cruel Whale. It's not that different. So it's kind of the same thing. So as long as the archetype isn't like top tier, I think it's fine for cards to have, or for decks to have effects like that. Then there's Doodlebook. When a dinosaur monster is targeted for an attack, negate the attack, and then special summon a Doodle Beast monster from your graveyard. If you do, it cannot be destroyed by battle, but destroyed during the end phase. If this card is in your graveyard, except the turn it was sent there, you can banish it, add a level 5 or higher dinosaur monster from your deck to your hand. You can only use the effect. So, the first effect of this card... You really want to get this in the graveyard to use the second effect. That's kind of where, like, the real value comes in. That's a Kaiju plus Pop. That's, like, a better stretch. It's not like a... it's not like a Kaiju. Oh, can you tribute your opponent's dinosaurs? I don't think so. I'm pretty sure you can't. What is those crap dino stuff? Oh, poor dinosaurs. Speed has been power crept so much. Lord of the Heavenly Prison is insane. No. So we got these like fire cards as well, the volcanic cards, which is that's neat. We got Flower Dino. Who doesn't love Flower Dino? So it must be special summoned by its own effect. Cannot be normal summoned to set. You can only use each effect of it once per turn. If you activate a trap card or effect, or your opponent activates a spell or effect, you special summon this card from your hand. This card is sent to the graveyard. You can target 3 banished spell traps placed on the bottom of your deck. It's a cool, nice card that is here, but it's whatever. Star Ignite. We got the Transcendosaurus Meteorus. I mean, who doesn't love a Transcendosaurus Meteorus? Come on, guys. Yowie is busted. Tech for reptiles. Where is Yowie? Have we gone over it yet? Or have I skipped it? Or have we just not got to it? Volcanic, volcanic, volcanic. I don't see Yowie. Or Yowie. Ancient Warrior Enjoyer. Still love it. Oh, it's just for dinosaurs. Yes! I haven't... Heavenly seems kind of to me, simply because you won't be able to summon it, since like 90% skills lock you now. That is true. That is also very true. We've got Volcanic Emission. We've got more Volcanic stuff. Who doesn't like Volcanic stuff? We've got Xyz Align. We've also got Yajiro Invader, which is a very funny card. How good Yajiro is going to be? If this card is normal summoned or special summoned to a zone that is not the center zone, destroy this card. Once per turn, you can move this card to an unused adjacent main monster zone. Each time exactly one monster is normal summoned or special summoned to your opponent's field, move this card to the adjacent monster zone closer to that opponent's monster, then destroy all other cards in this card's column. It's very funny. I don't know how good this is going to be. Oh, there he is. There's Yowie. I'm going to call it... This is probably pronounced Yowie, but I'm always going to call this Yowie, by the way, just so everyone's aware. If this card is summoned and no other cards, you can activate this effect. Your opponent skips their next draw phase. That's very funny. You can only special summon once the turn you activate this effect. You cannot use the... You can only use the effect of Yowie once per duel. That's funny. Ra's top 8 opponent was on Matarion. Thank you so much, Dwan. We're going to add that to the spreadsheet right now before we forget. And then there's, you know, everyone's favorite dinosaur, Zatomasaurus. So while you control another dinosaur monster, your opponent cannot target this card for attacks. You can target one of the cards you control, destroy it. You can only use the effect once per turn. So this is how we pop the baby. The effect of BL once per duel. Yeah, it's a bit weird. But let's get over to the skills. Let's look at some skills, everyone. And again, huge shout out to British Piper for data mining all of these lovely skills. So this skill doesn't matter. This is irrelevant. So skill 2, this is where the spice starts coming in. So this skill's second and third effects can be used once per duel. You cannot normal or special summon monsters, excluding special summons from the extra deck, except Predaplants. Okay. Reveal 2 Polymerization, Predap, which is going to be Predaplant, and then other Predap, you know, cards that are Predaplant, or Fusion in your hand to add a Predaplant monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, then add a Polymerization from outside of your deck to your hand. So that is huge, right? That is search any Predaplant monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand, and just grab a Poly for free. Now, you do have to have 2 other cards to make this work, but that shouldn't be difficult. Realistically, that should be live all the time. And then the third effect, if you control no monsters, you can place a Predator counter on a face-up monster in your opponent's field. Anyone that doesn't know, there's a lot of cards in Predaplants that do get bonus effects based on Predator counters. I'm pretty sure the Predator counters usually turn monsters' effects off, so like there's that. Yeah, but yeah, Larval and Volcanics are going to be funny. I mean, I don't know enough about the modern Larval and Volcanic cards to really comment on that. There's skill 3. The second skill and third effect can be once per turn, and each twice per duel. So this is getting like so like ridiculous, right? It's just like, who's keeping track of how many times they've used different effects? Like when it's like you can only use effect once per duel, that's quite easy. When it's like you've now got 2 different effects and each of them can be used twice per duel, it's like I've got to really keep track of all of that. If your extra deck contains Starving Venom, you cannot normal summon blah 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 blah. That's fine. Return 1 Predaplant monster from your hand into the deck. Add a Predaplant monster from your deck to your hand. So that's fine, right? That's just swap this card for this card. It's not as good as this, because this is just plus, and it's a +2. This is a +0. And this also gets us any Predaplant monster. So it's just worse. But then the other effect is return any number of monsters from your graveyard to the deck, then add a Polymerization. We should probably also move this so we can actually see it. There you go. Then add a Polymerization or Predapruning from outside of your deck to your hand. So this is nice because we don't have to run Poly. But this one also we don't have to run Poly. But this now gives us a chance to get Predapruning, which is activate this card by targeting a Predaplant monster in your graveyard, special summon it and equip this card. When this card leaves for destroy the monster. So it's basically, or like Living Fossil or like Premature Burial, right? This is I could be wrong, but in my opinion, skill 2 just seems better in almost every way. I think I just prefer skill 2, just straight up. Question, I'm trying to build Bluetooth, but I keep bricking. How many tributes would you say in Dragons should you run? I would probably just not play Bluetooth, to be honest. That's my honest opinion. It's not a very good deck. If you just like to play like off-meta stuff, then, you know, go for it, right? I would probably say you want no more than 5 tribute monsters. Maybe 4, depending on how much draw power you've got in the deck. So 4 or 5 would be where I would go for personally. That looks more fun than setting a monster with Crackdown. I mean, yeah. Predator counters just make them dark and level 1. Yeah, but there are other effects that influence Predator counters, right? If I remember correctly. I mean, I say that. I haven't played the deck in God knows how long. Let's have a look. I thought there was one which was like monsters with Predator counters lose their effects. Activates effect. To the end of the turn, your opponent's monster loses 1,000 attack, and if it does, this card's attack gains 1,000. Once per turn during standard phase, this card's graveyard. It's not this one, then. I thought there was one which did that. This one makes them level 1. Have a just a quick look through. It can attack all monsters your opponent controls with a predator counter each. That's quite funny. Target 2 level 5 yeah, special summon them. Let's just get special summoned. Goody D Venom. One face at monster. Okay, it has nothing to do with predator counters though. And this is where you start getting these like ridiculous monsters. I mean, either way, we're kind of getting a bit distracted here. Seems very similar to Windwitch skill, like in the utility, because my deck has 3 Blue Tooth, 3 the Star, 2 Metagears, and a Blue Eyes, and a Righteous. That is far, far too many, my friend. You mean Dragostapelia. It might be Dragostapelia. Hey, Tomato, you got leaked. Yeah, I got leaked. That's exciting. You got any, you got any more context for that? Should I be worried, Ray? Should I be worried? So then we'll go to skill 4. This is kind of whatever, right? If your deck, you can use twice per duel if your deck contains 9 or more dark monsters. At the start of your main phase, place 1 card from your hand at the bottom of your deck and draw 1 card. This is a nice little consistency thing, but like compared to what a lot of the other skills are doing, this is kind of a nothing skill, right? There's a link in the message. You can't see it. No, I cannot see it. It is disabled because of the bot, because we don't like the other bots coming in and spamming links in here. So we disabled all links in the chat. You'll have to post it to me on Discord if you want me to read it. So then we have archives and archetype skills. Plants exchange, use twice per duel. During your main phase, place a level 5 or higher plant monster from your hand on the bottom of your deck, draw a card. More generic hand shuffle, still looking good. Okay, go to leaks, check the last card. What about this one? Zotomosaurus. Tomato Schmeat picks was not on my bingo card. Not yet. I mean, this kind of has Tomosaurus in it, right? That's kind of my name. Fusion Dark Rays is whatever. Right, so this is where stuff starts getting weird. I do not know enough about the Odd Eyes deck to tell you if this means anything. The Odd Eyes Winged Dragon, that exists. It's a card. If this card the monster zone is destroyed, you can place it in your Pendulum Zone. You can use one of the following effects of Eyes return. You can target one effect monster your opponent controls. It has its effects negated. Now that sounds pretty good. During the battle phase, if you control this Synchro Summon monster, quick effect, you can destroy all level 5 or higher monsters your opponent controls. Notably, that's level 5 or higher. That won't work against Lynx. That won't work against XEs. So maybe it's not actually that great. Seeing a lot of excitement around the Odd Eyes skill. Again, I just don't know enough about this deck to give you an informed opinion. I've never even played Performer Pal Odd Eye Synchron. I've just never used this card, so... once per turn, you can target Performer Pal or Odd Eyes monster you control. This turn, that face-up card is treated as a tuner. Also, its level becomes 1. If this card is special summoned from the extra deck, it used a synchro material, you banish it. When this card is normal summoned, you can target 1 level 3 or lower Performer Pal or Odd Eyes monster in your graveyard, special summon it, has its effects negated. So it's just get out, make big guy, make big synchro. Please don't do anything else with me. That's kind of what this card is. And then, use that as well. Considering set from outside of your deck, so you get a free 7 stars. Use his effect to get a 1 star, basically. That lets you easily go into Odd Eye's Wing Dragon. Seems like it's got everything it needs. I'm more excited for Predaplant and Cyber Dragons. They finally bringing Zane back. Yes! Maybe we'll get lucky and they'll give us a nice, like, Dual Academy Zane rather than, like, Dark Edgy Zane. It's just Junk Synchron. Hey, basically. I think 3 Bluetooth, 3 star is enough. Star to help with Bluetooth, same with Fortitude. The thing is, with 6 bosses, you will still be bricking. Like, there's not really much you can do about that, unfortunately. So let me get to True Draco. So it can be used if your deck contains no field spells. It contains 15 or more True Draco or True King monsters. They really don't want you playing other cards with this. 15 or more monsters that are True Draco or True King. At the start of the duel, add ace cards to your extra deck. So they're clearly limiting something here. I don't know what this is. Cyber Dragon Infinity as a limit 1 bundle is going to be big too. Absolutely. Absolutely. They delivered archetypical restrictions to Performer Power, Odd Eyes, Penned Magicians. There's already future-proof the skills from any possible shenanigans future cards/engines can do with the deck. I hope this means that we are, in the near future, we get number 90 Photon Lord back. No transmigration, we are doomed. Possibly. Also, this life point boost F8. Interesting. You can only use the skill if the extra deck contains 2 or more level 8 or lower fusion monsters. At the beginning of the duel, gain 1600 life points. During the end phase of a turn that you successfully special summon a level 8 or lower monster, or fusion monster, gain 400 life points. That's neat, I guess. It's just kind of... It's kind of like Legend of the Heroes for fusion. If you squint. Fusion Dark Phrase is interesting. Adding True King of all calamities. God. That's kind of spooky if it's actually True King. Not transmigration, I mean diagram. I'm dumb. Fair enough. Right, Zane skill. You can use each of the skill's second and third effects once per turn. You cannot normal summon monsters except Cyber Dragons. Okay, that's fine. Number 2, send a Cyber Dragon in your deck to the graveyard. So this is here specifically, I guess. Off the top of my head, this is to be used with Nova, I guess. All monsters you control become level 5 until the end of the turn. Again, that's really good. We can just use this to go into our Nova and then overlay into Infinity. Seems fine. I don't think you needed to do much more than this. It helps you get to what you need. It doesn't do anything like super crazy, right? If this like plus you by like 3 cards like some of the other skills do, I'd be like, hold on a minute there, Konami. But this seems fine. This seems fine to me. Really good skill in general. I wonder what the build will be like for Cyber Dragons. I'm sure there's already people cooking away. And then we have Ghost Trick, which means I am sure that Demoni Yu-Gi-Oh! Is going to be so excited for this as he is the Ghost Trick guy. But you can use the skill's second effects once per turn. You cannot normal special summon monsters. That's the same restriction that every skill seems to have these days. Reveal 1 Ghost Trick Witch, which is this one. Cannot be normal summoned unless you control a Ghost Trick monster. Once per turn, you can change this card to face down defense position, like all the Ghost Tricks can. Once per turn, you can target 1 face monster on your opponent controls and change it to face down defense position. Or a Ghost Trick level 1 monster or a Ghost Trick field spell in your hand. Each card name once per duel. So that is very interesting, because that means you could be incentivized to play a whole bunch of different cards that have different names. I think they have 2 or 3 field spells. There are a bunch of level 1 Ghost Tricks, so you could be playing like one-offs of all of them just to make it so you can use this as a skill multiple times. Although typically games don't go that long, but Ghost Trick is a deck that tends to play a long grind game, so like maybe there is something there. Because we need more than just Infinity and the spell we're getting. Already told him about it, he is so hyped about it. Nice. It's always good to see what the money's up to. Dark Lord's skill is scary. Dark Lords can search for Droplet. Yeah, but we haven't got there yet, Ray. You're jumping the gun. Being able to get free Droplet. But yeah, each card once per turn. Then set 1 Ghost Trick monster from your deck to the field. Its battle position can be changed. Then you can send 1 Ghost Trick spell trap in your deck to the graveyard. During the end phase of this turn, you can change as many face down monsters you control to face down defense position. Change as many face up monsters to face down defense position. Ghost Tricks are a weird deck. It's probably going to be fine, but I think there's going to be a lot of people that aren't going to like playing against Ghost Tricks. We'll have to see how that actually goes. Then we get to the Dark Lords. You can use the skill second effect once per duel, blah, 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 blah. Reveal a Capricious Dark Lord. This is the good one, right? During the main phase quick effect, you can activate its effect, tribute summon one fairy monster face up, that's fine. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can make all monsters on your opponent controls lose 500 attack defense. Each fairy monster on the field until the end of the turn. You can use effect once per turn. That's fine. Or an Indulge Dark Lord. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can take 2 Dark Lord monsters from your deck, hand or deck with different levels. Special summon one of them to your opponent's field in defense position, add the other to your hand. Also, you can activate monster effects the rest of the turn, except fairy monsters. I mean, that's a fine restriction. You can use effect once per turn, so you can do that. To add the other one from your deck to your hand, right? So it's a 3+, right? If your opponent controls a card where you have no cards on your field, you can then add a forbidden quick play spell. So again, there's a couple of different ones. Droplet is the obvious one, right? But either way, this skill is sort of just a +2. I do like the fact this skill gives you an extra bonus if basically you're going second. I do like that sort of effect. But a 3+2 and one of them's Droplet that already has quite a heavy cost seems really good. That seems really good. Yep, they'll be fine. Indulged as is nutty. We're getting the Link monster reprinted. Droplet, Lance, Chalice. Ghost Tricks can normal summon face up after their skill. Mostly Droplet and Lance though. I shall become the Dark Lord of the world. Okay, Valley. I hope to see you in all of the tournaments. I hope to see you topping with Dark Lords. That is my dream. I want to see you getting some sick tops with Dark Lords. I want to see people topping with Ghost Tricks. I want to see all this cool shit. And that extends to Cyber Dragon as well. There's probably a few more Cyber Dragon players though. It is indeed, sir. How do they search Link Monster? How are people sure we're getting reprints in terms of staples when we got the Annie box already last time? Well, we might just get a deck build box, right? That could just happen. I'm going to be mainly cooking with Predator Plants. I decided 2 Bluetooth and 1 Phoenix. I mean, if you can make it work. So then there's Barry and Battle Morph. Gonna use this skill, second and third effects once per turn. That doesn't matter. During the main phase, play Star Seraph monsters. 1 each from your deck and hand to your field in face down defense position. Its battle position can be changed. If there is a card on your opponent's field, send 1 monster from your field to the graveyard. Barry and Battle Morph regain your true form. So that's to turn into our Barrian form. Play 1 Star Seraph monster from your deck to your field in face down defense position. Its battle position can be changed. Then add rank up magic Barrian's Force from outside of your deck to your hand. During this turn, the battle damage of your number C102 Archfiend Seraph will be doubled. I'm just saying, right? In Rush, we got Mirror Gear skill and it halved our damage. In Speed, they're like, nah, fuck it. Double the damage. Don't worry about it. It'll be cool. It'll be really sick. Don't worry about it. So if this face-up card will be destroyed, you could attach... Come on, music. What are we doing here? We can detach 1... We can detach 2 materials from this card instead. If the Xyz material is detached from this card, we can inflict 750 damage to your opponent. Now, that damage is not doubled because it's only the battle damage that's doubled. If this card has number 102 Star Seraph Sentry as an Xyz material, it gains its effect. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, target 1 face-up monster your opponent controls, change that target's attack to 0, and if you do, negate its effects. So we get a effect negate that's not quick effect, to be fair. We can make the attack 0, and then we inflict double damage. So this is always going to be, at the very least, threatening. What, 5,800 damage? That seems pretty good. I shall... Well, we're just spamming that now, are we, Valley? Hello, hello. How you doing? It's pre-nerf skill, basically. This is literally the main Star Seraph skill, Stare. Lol, I'm waiting for number 101 and C101 for Nash. Now, isn't this the same from the other skill? I haven't really looked at the other skill, if I'm honest. I don't know if this is, like, changed at all. But now, let's get into the stuff I do know about, guys. Oh, look at that. We've made it to the Rush stuff. We're going to talk now for so long about Rush. Isn't that what everyone's all excited for? Who doesn't want to hear me just yap about Rush for the next 20 minutes? So we're actually going to start over here, probably, and work our way backwards. We have the least to say about, right? So attribute, fusion, skills, dark, light, earth, fire. whatever. You can only fusion summon once during this duel. That is a heck of a restriction. What decks only want to fusion summon once? That is so awkward. But we can reveal an attribute fusion monster from your extra deck that lists fusion materials, lists as fusion material one face-up card on your field. Okay, we got there in the end. Change the original attack of one of those fusion materials to 16. Then you can add a fusion from outside your deck to your hand, and if you do, you cannot use this skill for the rest of the duel. So there are going to be some niche situations where this could actually be pretty good. Unfortunately, I think this is just going to be like, I want to play a fusion deck, but my deck doesn't have a skill, so I'm going to use this instead, which could be super awkward. Yay, Rush, let's go. Rush Bedge. A new Roman and Gavin skill, sign me up. I mean, don't get too excited about this Roman skill, as in the actual skill itself. It might have some interesting things going around it, but the actual skill itself doesn't look like anything interesting. Matarian Bros. If it didn't have this one line of text, this would be insane, right? But it does have that line of text, so it's not insane. That's just how it goes. Dark Lords shall rule the world. With no limb 3. No, wait, I can't make Gaia champion with that skill. Because he's wind. And there is only dark, light, earth, and fire. So no, you're not allowed to. Good stuff, Hammer Crush players. Looking happy at that skill. I mean, potentially, yeah. You just, I guess, slap in some of the dragons in your good stuff list. So next up, let's talk about Gavin. Let's talk about Gav. So, can be activated if all of the monsters in your constructed deck are fairy and warriors. This is quite a harsh restriction, but it's fine, right? Realistically. And they also can't be fire and water. That is an interesting stipulation. I guess they really don't want you to play, like, Siesta Torero. And fire warriors, this also could be very telling about something we might be getting soon. The downside here is that means we can't play all of the talismanic cards. We can't play Shitotsu, and we can't play... What's the fire one called? Is it Sakakaze, or is Sakakaze the wind one? Anyway, we can't play them. Baseball Utopias. Yeah, you can see where we're going. You can see where we are going. Flame Wingman Sag. It seems bad to me. Infernobles Rush, let's go. Sky Savior incoming. Alright. Multi-choice effect. Change the attack of up to 2 face-up monsters you control with 0 attack to be 100 or more. To be 100 more than their defense. So, if we have really low attack monsters, specifically 0, we can bump them up to have their defense as their attack. Right now, there's not going to be that many cards that work very well with this. There are still a few. We will talk about some of them, but that is notable. Then we can set a fusion from your deck or graveyard to your field. This is basically the same that we have for both the Spellcaster fusion skill and the Dragon fusion skill, so that's fine. Then we can change the defense, it's a multi-choice effect. We can change the defense of 1 face-up monster on your opponent controls to the 800 until the end of this turn. Now, this isn't super exciting. This could be good if we have effects to change attack mode to defense mode. And I can see people in the chat are already seeing where I'm going with this. This could mean Kimi Luna's coming. Kimi Luna works perfectly with both of these effects. But we'll get to that in a minute. We'll get to the cool shit in a minute. Let's talk about this. This is Needlecree, the Celestial Seamstress. This is a fairy normal. You're probably thinking, why are we talking about this? It's a level 1 fairy. It does work with our skill. It's got 1400 defense. It does have 0 attack, which means we can use the skill and make this a 1500 attacker if we want to. But this is used to make Yamiterasu the Divine Ruler, which is almost certainly the boss we're going to be getting. Now, we might not. We might not be getting Yamiterasu. Nothing has specifically said we're getting Yamiterasu. This would make the most sense timeline-wise. This was Gavin's first fusion. We're not necessarily getting this one, but this one seems the most likely to me. So it's made using Yami Ruler and Needlecree, the Celestial Seamstress. We can send top card of that to the graveyard, and then multi-choice effect until the end of your opponent's next turn. While this card is face up, it gains 500 attack, and also neither player can special summon level 9 or lower monsters in face-up attack position. That's really good. That is a really strong effect. This basically says your fusion monsters have to be level 10 or they're not threatening me. Deal with it. this doesn't work against maximums. This doesn't work against, like, generic good stuff. Like, this isn't going to work against, like, Mirror Innovator, right? This will still just die to Talismanic Seal Array. There is a lot of stuff that beats this card. This card is not omnipotent. It is not unbeatable. It is a bit frustrating. It will slow your opponent down by a turn, typically, which is really annoying. And if your opponent can't out it, it's going to slow them down by another turn. And then if they also can't out it on that turn, well, they're slowed down by another turn. So this card can get a bit frustrating. The other effect is that we can change the battle position of one monster. Now, we go back to our skills, which is over here. Change the defense of one face-up monster in your opponent's field to 800. So this could potentially be referencing this. We change a monster to defense mode, set it to 800, hit over it with something else, and then we can try and get a direct attack for 3000, for example, right? But let's try and catch up with everyone else. Urashima the Hermit, beats down, best deck. Getting the Nidoqueen Fusion and Duel Links, possibly. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Limit 1, that bad boy, please. It wouldn't even surprise me, to be honest. Wait, so Droplet confirmed to come with this box. I mean, you never know. Key would be So Toxic, looking cool. Goodbye Fusions. 3 out of the top tier decks can't do anything. I don't think that's technically true. It is very restricting to those decks, but a lot of those decks still do have outs to this. You might have to rely on some like non-in-archetype cards to deal with this, because the other big issue is this guy does go up to 35, and 35 is kind of big. It's kind of big. Piercing Samurai stays winning. I mean, just don't forget this guy is a Celestial Warrior, so you won't be able to give him Piercing specifically. You can still summon just in defense. Exactly. The downside is that most of the time, if you summon out a monster in defense mode, it's just going to get killed on the following turn. So it's, do we have the back row to protect the monster that we summon in defense mode? If we do, fantastic. If we don't, it's just going to die anyway. We'll probably have to make the monster just to empty our hands so that we can draw into more cards to actually out the Yamaterasu on the following turn. So Yamaterasu exists. So next up, we're going to talk about Valkyrian Cut Pastry. So if we're getting any of these fusions, we're getting Nidoqueen. And if we're getting Nidoqueen, we could get Cut Pastry. So if we have no other monsters on our field, we can place one card from our hand on the bottom of our deck. So -1, that's pretty bad. Special summon a fairy type monster with 0 attack from your graveyard face up to your field. That's +1, so we've now gone even. And we've basically gotten our Nidoqueen. So the idea would be we summon out Cut Pastry, summon out the Nidoqueen, tribute the Cut Pastry in one of the monsters, summon out the Yami Ruler, fuse into Yamaterasu, bam, 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 bam. That's all fine and dandy. But the other thing we could do is bring out both of these monsters. That's a Mabi. Don't worry about a Mabi just yet. The reason we're actually showing a Mabi is just because this part of the effect allows us to do stuff with 0 attack monsters, and a Mabi technically fulfills the requirement, and its attack would become 100. It's not very relevant, but I thought I'd mention it. There's also Urashima the Hermit, who, again, is a fairy monster with 0 attack, so you could make this guy a 21. Again, I don't know why you would, but I thought we'd mention it. And then there is Hagoromo, the Cloudal Handling Celestial Seamstress, which is made using Valkyrian Cut Pastry and Nidoqueen, the Celestial Seamstress. So if anyone that's not keeping track, that is this one, and that is this one. So if we combine them together, we can make this, which only has 2000 attack. And it does have 2500 defense, which is quite nice, and it's only level 8. But we can pay 300 life points to add a level 4 or lower warrior or fairy type monster from your graveyard to your hand. Then we can set a fusion or divine transformation from your graveyard to your spell and trap zone. So we haven't actually looked up divine transformation. We should probably grab that. Realistically, if we're not getting this card, it's because they don't want to give us divine transformation yet. And I don't think they're going to give us divine transformation, but I thought I would mention it. So this is fusion summon a like attribute monster by sending monsters from your field or from your field to the graveyard as material, including a fairy monster. If you fusion summon a Celestial Warrior type monster by this effect, you can also use monsters in your hand. So this is basically polymerization, as long as you're making Celestial Warriors. So I don't think they're going to give us this yet, because I think they still want us to focus on the actual fusion spell card. But I thought we would, like, mention it. I forgot this card existed. There's a funny skill with him. Divine would be too good. I think they want to just stick with fusion for now. No other fusion spells. Yes, basically what we just said. But I thought we would mention it because there is a slim chance, right? That looks bad. But do you think Divine Transformation looks bad, or you think Hagoromo looks bad? Rush has gotten so fast already, I'd rather we wait on those cracked fusion spells. It would make sense to hold off on them and just basically play around fusion for a long time. So Hagoromo's not bad. because you can make it very easily. This is basically a stepping stone just to make a bigger fusion. That's basically why you'd make Hagoromo. And Divine Transformation is actually pretty good because, one, it's searchable, right? I believe there's another card that works with Divine Transformation. Is there? No, there isn't. It's just this one. But you can use this to fuse hand, which means you can use the bigger part without having to tribute summon it, right? So in order to summon, for example, a Dragia Star, we've got a normal summon, tribute both for a Dragius, then use the fusion and use the dragon. That's like a 5-card investment. If we use Divine Transformation, we would only have to use Boss Monster, Divine Transformation, Celestial Seamstress. That's now saved 2 cards. So saving 2 cards to get to your Boss Monster can be really, really big. You can't out anything. Again, don't look at Hagoromo as a boss monster. This is a combo piece, right? This just gets you to Fusion and Divine Transformation. That is not, and also gets you a level 4 or lower Warrior or Fairy. So you make this guy, then you add Divine Transformation, and you also get back Needlecree. So this guy plus 2s us. So we've -2 to make it, then we've +2 off of its effect, and then we just make the fusion. Because we already have the Divine Transformation, because we searched it. We already have the Needlecree, because we've searched it. So now all we need is any of our big bosses, and we can go into a fusion. Where is my boy here of the sweep? Oh, we'll get to that, mate. How do you summon Dragius? He's not... Again, we're talking about an example that's in the game right now. We're not talking about using Dragius in this deck. In my mind... Right, I might be wrong. In my mind, it made sense to use Dragius as the example because he exists in the game right now. And, you know, his fusion exists in the game right now to make a Dragius Star. I realize my mistake. I should have just said Yami Ruler. But that's what I'm saying. This does nothing. I don't really see what... So what you're saying is, if we already have the 2 fusion materials... This is pointless because if we search just fusion... Alright. We'll wait. First off, we'll wait until the ads are over before we go into this. But I'll try and explain this. I will give it a go. Is there a good way to like keep track of this stuff? Probably not. We'll just wing it. We'll just see if we can get through this. So, right, ads should be over. So, the logic here is, in our hand, we have basically 1 copy of Cut Pastry, and we have 1 copy of, let's say, Fusion, and we have a Yami Ruler, right? So we have those 3 cards. So what we can do is we can summon out the Cut Pastry, use its effect, so we've given up the card, we give up one of the other cards in our hand, right? By doing so, we now get to bring back our Needlecree, right? Then we can use our fusion to combine the 2 together into Hagoromo. So already this is a 3-card combo. We have 2 cards left in our hand, and one of them is the Yami Ruler, right? Now, by using Hagoromo's effect, so we have Hagoromo on the field right now, we can add the Needlecree back to our hand, and we can add Divine Transformation back to our hand, right? So now we have basically back to 5 cards. Then we can activate Divine Transformation. We can get rid of the Needlecree and the Yami Ruler. And now we have Yami Tarasu, right? So now we didn't have access to a Yami Tarasu. And now we have Yami Tarasu and Hagoromo, and we still have 1 card left over, right? So that's the logic. And there is also more than just Yami Tarasu. If we have any of the other fusions as well that also fuse with Needlecree, we can go into any of those. So that is the point, is with effectively 4 cards, we have made a Hagoromo and a Fusion Monster. That is the logic. Where if we wanted to just hard make the Fusion Monster, we would have to go normal summon, tribute both, summon out Yami Ruler, summon out Needlecree, activate Fusion, and that's a 5-card combo. So for 4 cards, we've made our big Fusion Monster, so we've really got it at a discount, and we've got a Hagoromo on the field, right? That's the logic. I show the Fusion. So the main one is going to be this one, Yami Tarasu. But there are others as well. This is just the one we expect to get. So this guy is, until the end of your opponent's next turn, while this card is face up, it gains 500 attack. Also, neither player can special summon level 9 low monsters face attack position. Unless you want to see the other one, which is Hagoromo. That's this one. which is pay the 300 life points, add a level 4 or lower warrior fairy to our hand, and then we can set a fusion or divine transformation. Do you think Droplet will be in the box? Hagoromo is like an extender. Yeah, basically, yes. Didn't they just bring back the selection boxes? Well, they just brought back, like, some selection. Divine transformation is coming? No. But we were just talking about its use cases when it does come. That's what we were just talking about. So the end game is a 3k guy. So it depends, right? This is one of the end games, but this guy is a 3... So this guy's attack is going to go up by 500. So it's going to become 3,500 during your opponent's turn as well. And neither player can special summon level 9 or lower monsters in face-up attack position. As well as you get the ability to change the battle position of one monster. So if you can close out the game, you could, for example, change their defense position monster to attack position, attack over it. Otherwise, you floodgate your opponent. Without showing the 3k guy, it looked ass, but the 3k guy looks good. Okay, so at least we're on the same page now. And again, this is just one of the fusion monsters you can go into. There are a few others. We will be definitely talking about one of them. We'll probably look at the other ones as well. I guess we could look at some of them, like, now, right? So we'll look at this one for now. So the other bosses you can go into are Kimitarasu. This is made using Kimirula. If anyone has forgotten, Kimirula is the guy on the horse that can attack directly if all your opponent's monsters are in defense mode. But we can send a top event to the graveyard. Up to 2 face-up monsters on your field can attack directly this turn. This is especially good in Duel Links because he can attack directly with 3,000, and then you just get another direct attack, which is pretty good. Or this card gains 1,000 attack until the end of your opponent's next turn. But again, this card didn't come out until much, much later. This was like a deep Go Rush card, so I wouldn't expect this card because 1, they'd be bringing it very far forward, and 2, its effect is like too good. And then the other one is Semi-Tarasu. This one would be a little bit more likely to come out, but still not super likely. This is made using Semi-Ruler, which, for, again, anyone that's forgotten, this is the guy that can summon out a 0 attack monster from your hand and then boost that monster's attack by its defense to the end of the turn. But we can special summon a level 8 or lower warrior or fairy monster from your graveyard face up to your field. So, notably, if we fusion summon this using Semi-Ruler, we know we have a Semi-Ruler in the graveyard, so it's always going to be live to bring back a 2,500 attacker. Or we can shuffle monsters from your opponent's graveyard into the deck up to the number of monsters with 0 attack in your graveyard. Again, as we go forward, this effect becomes more powerful. Right now, this wouldn't be that great, right? Right now, that second effect's a bit mid. No shot they released this. That's why I wasn't going to talk about it, but I thought we'd mention it anyway, because these are the other options we can get. Kimitarasu needs to be locked behind a skill, so that also halves damage. Dude is wild! I mean, probably, realistically. I hope this is not the one we get. Celestial Warriors. Yes, Celestial Warriors. This is a fusion between fairies and warriors. Makes Celestial Warriors. Otherwise, the whole deck is ass. I mean, basically. So, then we'll go on to Urashima Sage. Again, technically, the skill works with this. We could use the skill to summon this out, boost its attack to 1,900, and also, you know, change it to defense. We can make something lose 600 attack. So, we make something defense mode, which means we can then use the skill. Then we can make its defense 800. Then we could use Urashima Sage to make it 200. Realistically, that's shit. It's really bad. But technically, it's something we can do. So I thought we'd mention it. No one's going to do this. But maybe there's like some really cheesy OTK shit someone comes up with. Maybe that's a thing, right? Then we're going to talk about a card that everyone was spamming in the chat earlier. This is Kime Luna, the Dark Shifter. This card is nuts. Now, when you first read this card, this might not seem that great. Trust me, this card is bonkers, right? So, 0 attack. Oh, that's pretty bad, right? That's pretty bad. 2,500 defense. Really, really good. Requirement, none. Change the battle position of up to 2 monsters on your opponent's field. Attack becomes face-up, defense position. And defense position becomes face-up attack position. And notably, change stuff to defense, we can attack over it. Or change stuff to attack, we can now get damage in. Then if you change the battle position by this effect, you can change this battle position to 1 monster on your field, which will almost always be itself, straight to defense mode. Now, on its own, this card is still okay. It's nothing like crazy, but it's okay. Now, one thing I will say, in Duel Links specifically, this effect is going to be a bit worse, because we don't have as much room in our decks to fit extra boss monsters. Now, you can summon this off of Semi-Ruler, and Semi-Ruler will let this thing come out as a 2500 attack monster for the turn. So there is stuff you can do with that. But as just like a generic guy that you play as like a one-of to like change battle positions, it's going to be worse in Duel Links than it was in the physical game. But it does get a fusion, and this fusion is great. Kimitarasu, the Rising Luna, is so good. So we can add a monster with 0 attack from our graveyard to our hand. Now, notably, once again, we're going to have a Kime Luna in there, so we can get this back to our hand if we want. But also, because we're using a Needle Cree to make it, we could just grab back a Tribute Fodder. So if our hand is like bricked up, or if we've got lots of boss monsters we want to summon, we can just add that back to our hand. But the other effect is the real good shit. Destroy up to 2 defense position monsters on your opponent's field. So, what you do is, you summon Kime Luna, use its effect, change it to defense, change 2 of your opponent's monsters to defense mode, then you fuse it off into Kimitarasu, use Kimitarasu event, pop the 2 monsters we just changed to defense mode, which is really good. As well as the fact it's still got really nice stats. It actually has 2500 attack, which is, yeah, it's not great, but it's fine. And it has 3000 defense, and 3000 defense is good, right? New Ice Arc, let's go. I mean, kinda. It's like, it's really good. Kimitarasu especially, if we get a skill for this, this could go super hard. I hope we get more good traps. I mean, so do I personally. Pulling fake subtypes out of your arse here, lol. I mean, we've already got some of them in the game, right? We already have Magical Knights, we already have High Dragons, we already have... I don't think we have Omega Psychics in the game yet, but, like, they exist. I mean, we've just put Galaxy in the game. In fact, back even in TCG, we've just added, well, it's been a while now, but we just put Illusion in. Like, that was pulled out of their ass. Like, that's just how... At some point, every type was pulled out of someone's ass. That's just how they're going to work. What would be too strong for now? Probably, I think we could get Kime Luna, but not the fusion. That's kind of where I think as well. But it's still good to point out these cards, because when we talk about, oh, we could get Kime Luna, people are going to be like, okay, but what does Kime Luna do? And it's like, well, yeah, eventually, it does this. And that's pretty good, right? Release Kimitarasu Konami. I mean, fingers crossed, right? So I guess now we will go back, since that's kind of it, we want to talk about Gavin's skill. We'll talk about this. Now this is interesting. This is, yeah, and Cyborgs, exactly. Why are their Celestial Warriors so good? Because Gavin has had the short end of the stick for so long. Give Gavin something. Right, Roman skill. Now, some people are going to read this and think it's a bit weird. So, can be activated if the only monsters in your constructed deck with 1400 or more attack are dragons and psychics. Now, what synergy is there between dragons and psychics? That's a bit weird. But we can make one face-up level 7 fire monster with 2300 less attack and 900 attack to the end of this turn. Neither player can activate that monster's effect on the field this turn. So this is weird, right? We get an attack boost, but then we can't use that monster's effect. They won't release the fusion. Literally the skill set fusion. Don't give Gavin anything. Just limit 3 all of his cards. I mean, you could do that. But what cards does the skill work with? It works with Shock Dragon, right? This is a level 7 monster with 2300 less attack. It actually works quite well with Shock Dragon. We can boost Shock Dragon's attack up by 900 and then reduce all of our opponent's board by, what's that, 23? So, like, you know, that is a combo that exists. You can also do it with Volcano Attack Dragon. It's not worth it, because why would you play Volcano Attack? Like, why would you just play a deck where the skill is your Volcano Attack Dragon's attack becomes 32? That's it. It seems a bit shit. Then there is Folder Blitz, the Infinite Dream. Again, not a big fan. I'm not sure why we would use this. And then there's this one, Sports Dragon Closer. So I feel like the skill might be a reference to this card specifically. So if your opponent has an attack position, level 9 or lower monster on the field, we can pay 3,000 life points. 3,000 life points. This card gains 2,000 attack to the end of this turn. Okay. So we could not use it. We can't, remember, the skill stops us from using the monster's effect. So if we give this plus 900, we then can't give it plus 2,000. So we never add those two numbers together. If your opponent has 8 or more monsters in their graveyard, this card cannot be destroyed by trap cards. That's a nice little effect. So you're probably looking at this and going, that's shit. Why would anyone play this? And they shouldn't, because it's really bad, and even that skill doesn't make this good. So why are we even talking about it? Because in the anime, Roman does play a duel where she uses some sports dragons, including Closer. So that is what the skill is referencing, right? It references the fact that Roman did play these sports dragons. Now, is there any real reason to use them? Not really, not especially. There's not really anything exciting going on there. But, as Waltz has said, she used them in the duel against Utopia Baseball Girl. So, now this might be a stretch, right? This might be a stretch. I'm hoping we get Utopia cards coming. That's what I hope. Because the Utopia baseball cards are really cool. They were actually very playable in the OCG, right? Now, they weren't like, oh, one of the best decks in the game, but they did win tournaments, right? This is a deck that did not just do nothing like most of the other archetypes. This archetype actually did things, which when we're talking about early rush duels, that is a big accomplishment because you've got to, you've got to outperform dragon casters, you've got to outperform machines, you've got to outperform all of these really strong decks. So the fact this deck did anything is really good. Yuma's cards. I think it makes sense that they added Yuo. They would add another of the Goha siblings. We'll probably get Reptile Boy too. Yes, I think the ones that make the most sense would be Yuka, we've already got Yuo, and then Yuga. Those are the three that make sense. The other ones, they don't really make a lot of sense to come out in Duel Links, but those three, I think, do make some sense. This deck could also attract the Zexal fans to rush. I mean, I'm not sure if it will. I think some of the players will be like, what have you done to my cards? Like Gaga Outfielder. So this is just a vanilla, but I thought we'd talk about the vanillas. This one's a little bit better. Atashakacha, it has 1400 attack, so, it's better than 12. And then there's Zubaba Bata, which is actually a decent stat with 1500. He actually has 400 defense, which is not bad either. Also, I just want to say, Zubaba Bata looks awesome. Look at this guy dual-wielding baseball bats. How sick does he look? Come on, you can't tell me you don't like him. 3 you'll probably get. What do you mean by that, Chudo? Literal Chudo. I mean, who knows? But. Let's talk about some of the effect monsters. So let's talk about player 39 home run hitter. First things first, he passes the check. He has 2500 attack. That is something a lot of rush bosses fail to achieve, right? I don't see how this is going to fit in a mini. No, Manicus. Even if this isn't coming out immediately, this could be something that we get in like the next product release, right? Also, we don't know what we're getting yet, right? We don't know if we're getting a super mini. We don't know if we're getting a mini. We don't know if we're getting a mini and a deck build box or something, right? We could be getting anything. We don't know. So even if we don't get these immediately, we could be going in that direction. And if the anime story progresses to that stage, generally the cards do come out alongside it. And this could also be hinting at characters we get. So this could be hinting that the next character we get could be Yuka Goha, right? But here we go. If there is a face-up Frivolous Stadium or Feverish Spirit Stadium on your field, send 2 face-up level 4 fight action monsters from your field to the graveyard. This card gains 2500 attack. This turn you can only attack with this card. Now this card specifically, generally, you don't use this effect, right? This is a 2500 vanilla for the most part. That's what we use this for. Now if it's good enough for Udius, it's good enough for us, right? Next up, we're going to talk about the Feverish Spirit Stadium. While this card is face up in the field zone, face up fire attribute monsters on your field gain 400 attack during your turn only, and face up fire attribute monsters on your opponent's field gain 400 attack during their turn only. So a field spell that basically almost always is just going to work one-sided, because how often are you going to be against a fire deck, right? You're going to be able to gain 400 attack to your whole board, which means now your boss is now 29, which is already pretty good. And a lot of our skills, or a lot of our effects, do work around this card. So it's not like, oh, you just wouldn't play it. It's like, no, because a lot of our cards do stuff with this, such as Dododo Second. If a face-up Feverish Spirit Stadium is on the field, we can pay 500 life points. This turn, this card can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute summon of a fire attribute monster in attack position. So we get this out. Suddenly we can use this as 2 tributes. That's pretty good. Then there's Go Umpire. We can shuffle 1 Spirit Stadium from our graveyard into the deck to special summon one fire attribute normal monster with 400 defense from your graveyard face up to your field. And look at that, 400 defense, 400 defense, 400 defense. So we have that. This turn, you can only attack with fire monsters. So both of these guys basically work just to get your bosses out easier. That's basically what they're for. We use them to get extra bodies or to get discounts on tribute summons. Bam, 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 right? They still haven't released a playable field spell. Soon, don't worry about it. Then there's Bobbleheader, which is we can add up to 2 Feather of Spirit Stadium and or tag up magic sacrifice force from our graveyard to our hand. We're like, okay, what the heck is tag up magic? So tag up magic. By the way, for people that haven't read these cards before but do know of the Utopia archetype, this is probably all feeling like a bit of a meme, and it kind of is. But we can send 1 face-up fire attribute monster from your field to the graveyard to special summon 1 level 8 fire attribute monster from your hand face up to your field. So any of our fire monsters can go to the graveyard, and then we get any of our level 8 fire attributes. So when you really squint at it, just this first part of the effect, this is a normal summon, right? This is just 1 fire monster plus this is the equivalent of normal summon, tribute, both summon out a boss. That's what this is the equivalent of. But then, if we sent a level 8 monster to the graveyard, so if we sacrifice a level 8 monster basically, to meet this requirement, we can destroy a spell trap. So that is quite a heavy cost, but being able to pop a back row can be really, really valuable. So like there is that as well. Then we have Player 99 Grand Slam Dragon. We can shuffle 3 fire attribute monsters from your graveyard into the deck to special summon a Player 39 home run hitter from your graveyard face up to your field. This card gains 2000 attack. So that is actually huge. So first off, we can summon this guy out. We just get a free 2500 body. Then, we also get to give this guy an extra 2000 attack, so he becomes 4000. So we basically just get a 2500 attack and a 4000 body for that turn, which is pretty good. Utopic Dragon? No way. Yes, yes way. Behold. He also has if you look at his back, he has an entire football stadium, just like behind his head there. So, again, pretty good combo. Just to be able to get out a lot of attack points very, very quickly. Then, there's Captain 39 Home Plate Pinch Hitter. Now, let's get everyone seeing what this is a reference to. But shuffle 3 level 4 fire attribute monsters from your graveyard into the deck. This card gains 1500 attack, so it goes up to 4000. Then if your life points are 1000 or lower, you can make 1 face-up monster on your opponent's field lose 3000 attack. So that is basically going to put them down to like 0 usually. Then we're going to slam into them for 4000 damage, which is pretty good. Utopia Ray, there we go. It's weird that a meme episode from Zexal became a Rush archetype. I mean, if it works, right? They're not going to give this dex a skill. It's got too many big attack manipulation effects. They might give it effect that like cuts the damage you can deal. Like they might actually do that. This 1-to-1 actual Utopia Rays effect. That's me. Wait until you guys saw the Blue Eyes cat. Oh, we have spoken about the cat before. So we'll talk about some of the cards we definitely don't think we'd be getting. So Gaga Guts. First off, Konami hate trap cards, so we wouldn't get this anyway. But these trap cards are also really good. So when a monster on your field is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, so this is the only hard bit, has to be destroyed by a card effect. Not every deck does that. So, But we can special summon 1 fire attribute monster from your graveyard to your field and face-up defense position. Then if you special summoned Home Run Hitter or Grand Slam Dragon by this effect, you can destroy a monster on the opponent's field. So this lets you cheat out a guy and pop a monster on your opponent's field, but it's a little bit awkward, right? We do have to have one of our cards destroyed by a card effect. It's a good effect. It's a harsh requirement. That's kind of how you look at this card. Depending on the meta, this could be good, but then there's Requesting 9. When your monster is destroyed by an opponent's attack, okay, so this is a lot more likely to come out, gain 900 life points. Okay, gaining life points is nice. Then if you have 9 or more fire attribute monsters in your graveyard, right, how often is that going to happen in Duel Links? You can special summon a Home Run Hitter or Grand Slam Dragon from your graveyard face up to your field. Now again, there are lots of trap cards that do this exact effect that Konami haven't given us yet. So I don't think we're going to get this. But they have to give us those trap cards eventually, and this is just going to be added to that list of trap cards that special summon a boss. And then there's Heavy Roller. I thought I'd mention this because it's another card that Yuka does use. But we can send 1 fire attribute monster from your hand to the graveyard, draw 1 card. Then if there's a field spell, you can draw 1 additional card. Basically, Konami haven't given us any of these type of like consistency tools, so I don't think they're going to give us this. But again, I thought we'd mention it, right? Skill cheating tomato. Make that the time for traps now, Konami. Could you imagine they just give us a brand new product called the Trap Box, and it just has nothing but traps in it? Could you imagine? Never doubt their greed. But that's kind of it. That's all the cards we want to go over, right? That is everything I have to say about this skill. Now, again, if we go back to the actual... Like, it's referencing this guy, probably. It's going to be bad. Realistically, I don't see this doing anything. This just seems kind of useless. This skill itself, I don't think matters too much. I think more than anything, this is get fusion. Like, if you compare this to both the Dragia Star skill and the Spellcaster skill, both of those skills plus you, like, in really good ways. One of them gets you the other half of your fusion. One of them lets you search your boss monster from your deck. This just gets you fusion. So I think they know that the Gavin fusions are really good. So they're trying to be like, whoa, let's not let you plus as well. Okay, you still do plus because you get to set a fusion, right? But we're not going to let you just do everything you want to do. The other harsh part of the skill is we can't do the second part unless we do the first part. Which means if we want to search fusion, we need to change the attack of up to one face-up monster to that has a 0 attack. Which means, whereas with Dragius and with, or Dragius Star skill and with the Spellcaster Dark Paladin skill, 7th Paladin skill, we can use those effects just to grab a fusion out of our deck willy-nilly. If we have a spot free, we can just slap that down. We can also smoke screen it in our hand, set 3 cards, your opponent doesn't know which one's the fusion. We can't do that with this, because we have to have a 0 attack monster on the field. So we have to slam that guy down, then change its attack. We don't really want to leave it on the field, so we kind of want to be using that fusion the exact same turn, or we want to tribute the body off to do that. So, like, we still could do that, but the other issue is this immediately sets it to the field, doesn't put it in our hand, which means we can't abuse it in the same way those other skills can abuse it. So it's a little bit more restrictive, and I think that is very deliberate. Cool Pot of Greed for Utopia Baseball. But making your Kimi Luna 2600 during the opponent's turn is good. No. It's until the end of the opponent's turn, though. It's not so bad. I mean, it's not right. Don't misunderstand. I'm not saying this is awful. What I'm saying is, one, we don't know if we're going to get Kimi Luna. Right? We do not know if we're 100% getting it or not. And two, even if we do get that effect for Kimi Luna, we still don't have a way to get Kimi Luna out any easier. We don't have any way to like get any free pluses. And that's always been the weakness of these early fusion decks, is it's difficult to just get your guys onto the board, right? Because this just pluses us a fusion, we're still going to have to normal summon, activate fusion. Well, I suppose that fusion doesn't really matter because we can +1 that. And then we still need the normal summon. And so it's, right, let's go start again. We need normal summon, tribute both for Yami Ruler, or whatever, Kime Ruler, whatever we've got, whatever we're making. Then we need a normal summon of Needle Crew, and we need fusion, right? Now we get 1+1, so we got to 6 cards. But our combo is still a 5-card combo, so we'll only have 1 card left over. Whereas, with, for example, the Dragia Star skill, we can use that to +2, so our 5-card combo still leaves us with 2 cards left over, right? Do you know what I mean? So we're not able to, like, get as much war advantage. Yeah, it's not as much of an advantage, you're right. Yeah, that's basically what we're saying here. So it comes down to, is that power boost going to be enough? If this is Kime Luna, maybe. Roman skill looks fun for a big OTK blowout with the 2 Fire Psychics and then Sports Dragon. She already has a meta deck, so she doesn't really need any more. I don't really see what you do with this skill, though. Because the issue is, we can gain 900 attack, and then we can't use the monster's effects. So it's like, you're not going to use Volcano, probably. Folder Blitz is like, okay, but then you can't do the burn. Sports Dragon Closer is just a weak body. And again, if you can't use his effect, he's not going to gain any attack. I don't know. I don't think it's going to be particularly good. Like, I don't think it's going to be even playable. I think this is going to go straight into the bin of like stuff that is just never going to see people using unless they're just memeing. Use the boost to handle big bodies. So like, you're not wrong, but every other deck already does that and doesn't need to be bad doing it. Do you know what I mean? Aside from that, just use your effects to get you low. I still don't see this being remotely playable, to be honest. I really don't. I mean, again, if someone proves me wrong, they make this deck work, and it's a really cool deck, that's cool, right? But that is all the leaks. That is all of them. We've gone over all of them. Gavin probably looks the most interesting. I think if we do get our hands on Kimi Tarasu or Yami Tarasu is probably the most likely. We might get Seme. And there is a non-0% chance that we get to see Kimi Luna and Kimi Tarasu. I would really like it if we did. I'm kind of almost expecting like Kimi and then Yami Tarasu. That's kind of what I'm expecting. We'll see if that ends up being true or not. Waiting for the Music Princess and their fusions. I would also really like to see this come out as well. Konami releasing more useless skills for skill lottery gamble, so kind of them. I mean, basically, yeah. That's how I look at it anyway. Again, if someone else can make this work, hats off to you, right? But, it is 4 o'clock. It is 4 o'clock. I have been talking non-stop for 3 hours, and my throat needs a rest. I do have to go and make some food, and then I will be busy a little bit later on. Now, I'm going to assume that one of these pings in my Discord is because someone is hosting a Rush tournament later, and it does look like we are going to be having a Quantum Rush tournament today. So everyone should make sure they sign up to that. I personally am definitely going to be playing in that. I will make time this evening. It does start at 10 PM for me, which does kind of suck, but like it's always then. I always make time for Quantum. So we will be doing that. But we will be back again on Tuesday. We'll probably be playing more Rush. That seems to be what we do here. We do the Rush things. So thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.